Overall, I kind of dig it, but it could be.
Son, what are you watching there?
Well, Dad, it's Larry Arts Productions, home to many types of content, including stop motions, reviews, unboxings, and other types of videos.
I knew getting the internet for my kid was a mistake.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to that of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series Monday night coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Season 4 certainly started off with a bang last week at that of Daytona. Got to see the first driver to win 2 Daytonas in 2 different seasons. That was John Forbes getting his second Daytona win for himself. So he's starting off the best you could ask for the season. And he's top of the board here for practice. That 11 is looking for some extra speed, but the rest of the field wondering if they can grasp that first win of the season. Again, all the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. And Zach, what a night here tonight. Kentucky. It's been a while since we've been to this course, but drivers seem to be finding themselves pretty comfortable.
Yeah, all the way back to Season 2, the last time we've been here to this Kentucky Speedway, and the newer configuration of Kentucky too. So, and it's the same one they ran in Season 2, but still on the newer side of things when it comes to iRacing. But yeah, hopefully these drivers did a good bit of homework here tonight coming into this race, because this is the first true test, as I would say. You know, Daytona, always one of those races where it's anybody's game out there. But tonight, it's going to be all about true pace, true speed, and we'll see, because I think clean air is going to be very, very critical, so track position is going to be the #1 thing. But we did have a wild race here in Season 2 where it switched up a lot in the very late moments of that race, so we still have plenty of racing to be done here for 150 laps that I think could get very wild.
Yeah, that last race that they had back in Season 2 showed that the restarts is where the majority of the action is going to be made. If you're going to make some big passes or even big wrecks, we'll have to see how this race starts out on how clean they can be. They did have quite a few long runs during that race before they had to go to overtime. But Zach, here tonight, you talked about it. This is the first true test. Kentucky, a track that this is the newest configuration that it is. This is probably one of the last configurations we're going to get of Kentucky, as this track is not really being utilized anymore in the current days of NASCAR. But drivers usually say this track pretty unique. Some say they prefer the older configuration. Some like this current one. What are those major differences, and what are you expecting to see here for qualifying?
Oh, there's a good bit of difference here, actually, with this newer reconfiguration of the surface. Now, the 3 and 4 corner, very similar to what it was in the past. Very flat and a kind of a narrow groove corner. But in that very far past, it was very bumpy. Now it's very smooth because of the newer surfacing. But the biggest change when it comes to this track is turn 1 and 2. Turn 1 and 2, the banking was increased and the width of the track was narrowed. So it was brought in and very much less room to race. But the track with the added banking has added a kind of a new, spice of life to it, where these drivers really for the first 3 to 4 laps possibly will even be wide open through 1 and 2 as before the tires start to degrade and fall off and lose the grip that they need to go wide open. But it adds a different effect to the race. It makes for clean air, in my opinion, is very much more important, because the groove is so sensitive. You got to be right down low to that line to really get that grip. So these drivers are going to be looking to see make anything they can happen. But I think 3 and 4 will be the key place to be fast. If you can make a difference through there, I think it'll be better to be fast in that corner than 1 and 2, where it's much less of a difference that you can make as a driver.
Drivers get to see their test. Now, some of those times we got to see during practice, there was some draft help to help on the straightaways to get that extra speed. Well, now you're on your own. You've got a total of 5 minutes, only 2 laps to put down your fastest time. Driver that gets the fastest lap gets that top pole award. You want to be up front. The driver career-wise has been able to do that the most is Mark Whitley, but we got a lot of rookies. We got to talk to one of them, and we get to see that on screen now. Going to be that of Jonathan Katina, going to be one of those drivers to watch out for. Drivers that we've seen a lot of people trying to elevate where they've been the strongest. Well, here tonight, we finally get to see how do the rookies class for Season 4 compete to those that have raced previously.
That's always an interesting thing at the beginning of the season, is how those rookies mesh in with the current group of drivers that came in here before. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, but you brought it up, Mark Whitley, the most prolific qualifier in ISRC Truck Series history. He's right now second on the board, as I was about to say, he's the top. Noah still takes that with his lap there. We'll see, can anybody improve on their second laps, but I think right now at the moment, those are some pretty quick times. Like you said, the times were a little bit slower than practice. That was due to that draft. When you run a corner almost wide open, the draft will have a pretty huge effect, especially with how much weight these trucks put off the rear of them. when they go around this racetrack. So going to be interesting because I think this is the most important time of this race almost. Qualifying here will set up your beginning of this first stage to lap 60 to give you that chance to really battle for those good points. And as I say that, John Forbes, he takes advantage of it and he goes top of the board.
John Forbes, who came into this race back when they first ran in season 2, got himself up front with the pole award, almost found his way into victory lane. He is setting himself up for another pole. Might need a little bit more magic. The driver that's maybe needs some magic could be finishing out their qualifying time. That's going to be Joshua Altis in the 94. With the late race accident that happened, some drivers unsure how they want to run around those in the deeper of the field. Here's going to be the 19 machine of Tyler Dangler. Dangler going to be starting his first lap as he's got 1 minute and 45 seconds left in qualifying. Just enough time to get these 2 laps in. And here we go with his first time for the 19. Going to be a decent lap for himself. Going to be a 31.118. Gonna need a little bit extra pace. That is only best for 30th currently on the board.
Yeah, we'll see if he can pick up here on this second lap. I believe majority of these laps were on that second one. So we'll see, can Tyler Dingler find the speed he needs? Because like you said, at the moment, sitting 31st on the board, I think he's going to be wanting to start a little farther forward than that as more times continue to come through. But what I'm seeing at the top of the board mostly is we're seeing some new names. Malik Kuntz is right there in the 3rd spot, and also another rookie is Zachary Peterson there in 6th. So the rookie's showing up big here so far in qualifying.
Yeah, Malik Kuntz, he was actually one of the highest of those other rookie class during practice. He was around that 10th and 11th marker. Great to see the extra pace the 98 has right now, 3rd on the board. As we see some other drivers trying to get their times in. Here's going to be the 4 machine. This is Jordan Schmitz, who's going to be just getting practice in. He's already finished up his qualifying. Going to be 26 currently on the board. But gain any type of practice, you can run as long as you want. Once you're done with your qualifying laps, it's once you jump out of the vehicle, you cannot get back in. 30 seconds left in qualifying. There's only one more driver to try to put in a time, and that's going to be the 26 of Tyler Horn. First lap, 32nd for himself, but he's got 20 seconds to try to finish his lap that he's on. I think he might just be able to do that as we're still watching Schmitz. Going to be trying to get some type of a little bit extra oomph for this 4 machine, as going to be seeing how well he can do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Horn is just going to make it across. Don't know if that time's going to count, and it looks like it will for that of the 26 machine. Not a lot of time for himself. But it's time for us up at the booth to take a look at where the qualifying results are. Got to see a little bit of that preview of John Forbes topping the board, but here they are for your starting results for our second race of the season for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. It's the 11 of John Forbes going to be taking that pole award, with the number 8 of Noah Steele almost sneaking it away in second. 8 goes to the rookie of Malik Kuntz in that 98 machine. Mark Whitley going to be in 4th, with that of Eric Stamp in 5th. A strong qualifying run for the 53. Excited to see what he can bring here tonight, with another rookie of Zachary Peterson in 6th. Ethan Smith 7th. 8th goes to Nick Crawford. GT Rizar gets 9th, and 10th goes to Danny Cochran.
In the 11th spot, it's going to be the 13 of Cedric Hunter. 12th is going to go to the 21 of Kyle Rochelle. Trenton Jump's going to bring it home in 13th. 14th position is going to go to the 25 of Cody Reed. Another rookie here, Robert Sherwood's going to start in 15th. Also, along with him, another rookie is Joshua Kanata there in the 16th position. And another rookie after that is going to be Matthew Gilliams in 17th. 18th is going to be Joshua Freed. Ali Fonseca is going to be in 19th. And rounding out the top 20, a returner, it's Austin Halsey.
21st is going to be Logan Brakey, with another rookie of Kyle Tate going to be in 22nd. Another rookie in the 12 machine, 23rd. That is Ryan Crawford, with also going to be that of Justin Smith in 24th. Mark Morales in 25th. Rookie in the number 4 machine going to be that of Jordan Schmitz in 26th. 27th goes to that of rookie of Brian Fine, as well as going to be Dakota Moniz in the 5 machine, taking 28th. 29th goes to that of John McAdams, and that 30th place goes to the rookie of the number 1 machine, Michael, that of Sheffield.
Followed up by another rookie in the 31st position. It's Tyler Horn there. We saw him just get the lap in by the buzzer beater. 30 seconds going to go to Jonathan Smith. Tyler Dingler in the 19. He's going to be the 33rd position. 34th is going to be the 94. Joshua Altis, another rookie, with Barrett Uphold also coming in that rookie class in 35th. 36 is going to be Jesse Thornock. 37th is going to be Stephen Baldwin. And the last 2 trucks on the field to fill our 39 trucks. 38th is going to be Christopher Norris. And 39th is going to be Matt Upload.
Talked about it last week. Some rookies missing out on the start of the season. Well, they are now here. But Zach, a new a little stinger that we have coming up for our transitions as we're seeing that come across our screen. That was the game to give splash screen that we're seeing. Can you give a little bit more explanation? What is that that's coming across our screen?
Yeah, that is our fundraiser that we're doing. So Game to Give is the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation's, they use that for gaming. It's how they raise money through the power of video games and, sims like iRacing. And it's a really powerful tool that they've used. We've, came on board with them and we've been fundraising money for them. And right now we're up to $548 raised, folks. So make sure you check out our fundraiser there. We're trying to raise money for that juvenile diabetes. It's a very great cause that it is. And we're proud to say we're already above our goal of 500. Let's try to hit 1,000 though.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to see the amount that this community has brought together, and we're just starting. That race community, that charity race isn't until February 11th, so you got plenty of time to donate now. There's also places to donate and join the race. We'll touch on that more details on joining our Daytona 500, but tonight it is the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series Season 2 for Season 4. The Kentucky 225 is green with John Forbes, Noah Steele rocketing down into turn number 1.
Great start from Forbes there. He's already going to clear that inside line. And you see Noah Steele rocking the new colors this season in that color teal graphics machine. That's cool to see that he's on Armadillo's Motorsports there racing with that team. And I think he's going to learn a lot from those guys.
Yeah, I mean, joining a team that has won championships in the past, joining that type of fray certainly is going to be helping this 8 as he's trying to find a little bit more consistency. He made the playoffs, had a deep run in the playoffs, and right now being challenged by one of our favorites to watch out for this season. It's the 77 of Mark Whitley on the outside as John Forbes leads lap number 1.
Yeah, great already start from those guys, but I think Mark Whitley here, he's going to utilize that outer groove, though, that not many people would thought would have worked very well, but just pinching that 8 car down, holding him to the bottom, not allowing him to create that momentum off the corner. Mark Whitley was able to make that pass, but now we got some more action farther back here as it looks right behind Danny Cochran. Zachary Peterson is going to be trying to make the move around Nick Crawford.
And this battling going on with some drivers that are coming in. A little bit of a number change up as the battle for 8 is underway with Nick Crawford switching from the 4 to the 74. Still part of that Snowy Desert Racing team, and also changing up the scheme for himself as he's getting by that of the 96, the rookie of Zachary Peterson. And Peterson had a very strong run last week. A lot of drivers starting to respect this 96 machine. And after, having a strong run at Daytona, getting early respect as a rookie is always nice to be grabbing.
That it is. Respect is always a nice thing to have when it comes to racing. That allows the driver around you to race you a certain way. And I tell you, a driver has a lot of respect around the league. That's the past champion, the 46 at Trenton Jump right here. And he's trying to make his way forward. It looks like he did lose 1 position at the start from after starting 13th. Right now in this 14th position behind Kyle Rochelle and Cedric Hunter. A little bit of a checkup, but behind this group, there's some more battling going on.
And also in front of them, some battling going on, and that it was for the lead. Going to be John Forbes being hunted by Mark Whitley. Whitley not holding back. Almost took the lead on the inside through 3 and 4. But John Forbes gets back in the throttle, and that could be something to watch out for. With the moves we've seen from Mark Whitley on the outside, John Forbes just defending that last lap on the outside. These tires, something to watch out for in the leader runs. They're only 5 laps in. That is something that the drivers got to see a lot of that 2 seasons ago, was the fact that you could be seeing tire wear being a big issue, as well as damage to 77 already having that right side damage.
Yeah, and that's huge, man. Tire wear is a huge thing, but damage can be even worse. And looking at the right front of this 77, I got a little bit closer look than what we're seeing right here, and it is splitter damage. That splitter is what you make your downforce with. That is the very bottom of the nose of these trucks. That's how it seals to the ground, and that's where the airflow tries to flow underneath to suck that truck and that nose to the ground. He's got a good bit of damage there. Also, even some fender damage. That will cause some drag to slow down those speeds on the straights. And with such a fast track, with almost a wide open 1 and 2, he's going to be in a tough position. And you can see they're already starting to gang up behind him.
They are starting to gang up, and one of the drivers that's on the move is that 2 machine in the white and blue right behind Mark Whitley and also Noah Steele and Malik Kuntz. Kuntz doing a great job staying in our top 5, but he might be that marker for 5th place because here comes the 2 machine. Danny Cochran's already up 5, now make it 6 positions if he can complete this pass.
That's super impressive from Danny Cochran, our past season champion there of season 3. I tell you, I mean, you know, it's so hard to pass at this track, and you can see Kuntz there really pushing him down the racetrack, trying not to give him too much room so he can carry as much speed as possible. But passing here is at a premium. So with Danny Cochran already making those big of moves, you know he is definitely trying everything in the book there. As now Kuntz, he gets to the outside of the 8 here of Steele down the back straightaway.
Great run out of turn number 2, and now entry of turn 3, still side by side. It's this 98 to the 8. And our rookie coming out of tonight, we weren't sure who was going to be the fastest. Was it going to be drivers that ran well at Daytona last week? Well, right now, Malik is showing that he might be a threat to watch out for as he's closing in on the damaged and wounded Mark Whitley of the 77.
With that 8 right there, almost got the bumper from the 2. I mean, he might have even got a little bit of a touch there from that rear bumper game. So that was a wild moment. Now, look, they're stacking up even behind him. Eric Stamp and Ethan Smith. This is some wild racing here in Kentucky, and I didn't expect this much passing already to be happening.
A lot of passing going on, but issues through 3 and 4. That's going to be Schmitz as well as a huge gaggle of cars. This is for last place where they're all on top of one another. There's about 2 or 3 drivers got into one another, and oh no, there they go to the inside on the outside wall. Drivers scattering, but they somehow continue to stay straight. Zach, we stay green even with all that chaos.
Yeah, that is wild to see there. Jonathan Smith there was the one that took the heavy lick along with Joshua Altice, and these two started so far back in the field. It was a little bit of a melee there, and unfortunately for them, their trucks are completely damaged, and there's no yellow flag to really bring this race back to anything, and they both, I believe, yeah, both have a meatball flag, so they have required damage to be repaired.
Meatball flag's a black flag with an orange circle flown at drivers, letting them know you must come into pit road in the next 3 laps or you will be disqualified. And mainly when you get that flag, it is a curse to say, Zach, you're most likely done for the night. Or if you get back out there on track, you're going to be at least 10 or plus more laps down.
Yeah, it's pretty much a night over. You're going to have to salvage any little points you get. So they're, like you said, it's required to come to pit road. You have a certain amount of time to get it done, and if you don't, you get disqualified from the race. So those drivers are going to have to come down, just get it worked on, and see what will happen, because, you know, there's still possibilities. This is a giant field, so there's still plenty of possibilities for drivers to make mistakes and knock themselves out of the race and then just not be able to continue. And if you can get your truck somewhat fixed in decent condition and just be able to complete laps, you may be able to gain a few spots. And we know how valuable points can be. As right now, we're seeing some great battling. It looks like Cedric Hunter and also Trenton Jump there going at it along with Kyle Rochelle.
Yeah, and moving up is going to be that Trenton Jump up 2 positions, but the driver of the 14 there in the gray, very dark gray and blue of the 14, that's GT Rosari down 5 positions, one of our biggest, you could say, losers of the drivers in our top 15. And he is trying to gain positions back, but might have been going with a little bit more of a passive approach, trying to save those tires.
Yeah, definitely going for a little bit more of a passive approach. And, you know, I feel like that's kind of GT's MO. He always looks to save tires. Now, he is definitely an aggressive driver. He will get the elbows out, but he definitely likes to save them. And you see also the 24 here, Ali Fonseca. Looks like he's moved up 3 spots from where he started from 19th now up to 16th. So he should be looking to keep moving his way forward and maybe make a better night out of a tough starting position.
Well, as someone who had a very tough starting position to the season, that's going to be the driver right behind Ali Fonseca. Joshua Freed was not even able to finish 2 laps last week at Daytona, was caught up with drivers just making some bad shuffling moves to get back in the field. 39 was part of our first caution last week, and now already up to that of going to be 17th place, middle of the field. This is a great showing after a driver that struggled a lot last season. Hey, being in the middle of a pack that's 39 trucks deep, it's good to see that from Joshua Freed. And one of the drivers we got to talk to during our interviews finishing off last week's event. Here is that 16 machine going to be that of Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua definitely had a great ending to that race for him, as it all seemed to work out somewhat decently. As we'll see if he can make up some more ground. But right here, we got a great battle. This is the 25 of Cody Reed and Zachary Peterson. Both of these drivers looking to move forward. And Reed got into the outside wall. That's going to lose him a good bit of momentum down the straightaway. Now it's going to be Trenton Jump. It's a little bit of a stack up. There's contact to Reed.
Oh, he holds on, somehow saves it, and trying immediately over the radio saying his sorries. And that was an incredible could have been a very scary situation, but kudos to Cody Reed for just keeping it stable. Yes, it got out of shape, but what some wheelmanship on what could have been a lot worse.
That could have been terrible, Sam. It would. I mean, if he would have ended up around backwards, there was plenty of trucks right behind him that could have plowed right in, and that's what you don't want to have for Cody Reed. We know how tough it can be, you know, just to even sometimes, you know, stay out of trouble out here with all these trucks. He's looking to do that here. Is now Nick Crawford in this 74. He's done a great job. He's moved up that one position from the start, and now looking on the back bumper of Eric Stamp as he's up to this 6th position, but the driver that's behind him is the one that got in the wall we talked about, Mark Whitley. Seeing how much that damage is really hurting that 77, he is dropping back.
It is not good. He was very aggressive on those tires. On top of that, the damage that he's dealing on the right side. You touched on it, the front right splitter, and just the whole entire right side's completely ripped apart. He's just limping at this point. We're 17 laps in, and Zach, something we really haven't touched on, we do have a stage break here this evening. It's at lap 60. We also, these drivers don't have a fast repair, 4 extra tires in pit road, but the drivers may be able to make it to the end of this race, but may not. But issues, middle of the field behind, Cody Reed into the wall, and that could be bringing out a yellow, and it does.
Oh, man, I seen that with the blink of my eye. He just slammed the outside wall there in the middle of the tri-oval, and I think what's crazy to say, I think it was contact between him and Trenton Jump once again. So those two coming to blows, and man, oh, man, that is a tough ending because Cody Reed's night is coming to a quick end.
And Cody Reed trying his best to hold on here. You see the contact goes up into the outside wall, and this is where Cody was trying his best to hold on, but it just doesn't work out. Zach, it just seems like 25 trying to wheel it with his steering wheel and not with his brakes.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, man. It was such a heavy hit for him that he was trying to make it out of that, but sometimes the hit is just so much that it unstables the truck that much. And also, we don't know what kind of suspension damage was occurred to that truck. It could have been very detrimental to just the overall suspension of that truck, and it could have been crab walking, as we say, as the truck kind of walks to the side and doesn't drive straight. But we get an extra shot here of this instant replay, and we're going to get to see how hard this hit was here as they come across the start-finish line. You see, you know, Trenton Jump's on the yellow line. I think he was on the apron before, and he just came up the racetrack to, you know, ride that yellow line. I think Cody Reed thought he might have stayed a little bit lower, and that was just two drivers going for the same real estate.
And just trying his best to wheel it around and not able to do so for himself.
Yeah, not able to do it for sure, and it gets another little hit on the front end. But, man, just tough break for Cody Reed, who's a driver just looking to, you know, get to finishes. He's definitely, you know, a driver that has had a tough time when it comes to finishing races sometimes. He always seems to be in the bad luck, whether it be him or someone else. So we'll hopefully see his luck turn around here in the future races. But right now, with pit road getting super, super busy, we're going to see GT Irizarry, I believe, win the race off of pit road. And I believe that was a little bit of strategy. No tires for him as he just put fuel in the truck. He's not willing to risk a set of tires this early in the race. And with that fuel, they should be able to make it even to the end of the 60-lap stage now with these guys being able to go about 50 laps.
And we also are going to have that of Eric Stamp deciding to stay out first. It looks like he might be going with that of staying out, trying to just get a lap lead bonus point, and then maybe come in and top off on fuel. But also, the fuel is going to be very close for these drivers to even make it to that stage break. So if we get a couple of more cautions, Eric Stamp might be able to make it on fuel. But this doesn't look like a good point strategy ploy for this 53 if he's trying to get those stage points.
Yeah, if it is to go green, he's going to be in a tough situation. You know, this definite caution here should make it somewhat doable to save that fuel. The numbers that I was given were around 50 laps, but that wasn't up to speed lap. That was a full pace lap. And when you're doing those laps, you're almost at full throttle through 1 and 2, and you're lifting very little through 3 and 4. So as that run goes on, the tires start to wear off. You lift more and more off that throttle, so you use less fuel in return. So, you know, that 50 number really could be around 52, 53, maybe even 54. And that's where these caution laps are going to help Eric Stamp. But the tires, you're going to see how big a difference these tires are for this guy. He's going to be in a tough position. And along with GT, I mean, he's in the same boat. He put fuel in the truck. That will help the balance of the truck just a teeny bit. Also to help it rotate by lowering that rear end, getting the rear spooler out of that air, so it will tend to turn a little bit better. But I think those two are going to quickly find out that they are going to be trained to the back.
Yeah, that the back of the field also has a lot of drivers that are trying to get some damage repair for themselves. Mark Whitley, who qualified up front, had a great qualifying to 4th. He is now going to be all the way back in 28th position, spent a little bit of extra of about 30 seconds trying to get repairs done for the 77, as well as other reports. Cody Reed and as well that of Jonathan Smith, both have already parked themselves in out of the race. Also for Joshua Altus, who was part of that first initial wreck that did not bring out the yellow, but had required damage. He is still in pit road. He's been in pit road for over 8 minutes. He's hoping to get back out there in the next 2 minutes or so, but it's going to be a long night for some of these drivers. But I think for some, they're just happy that this didn't go green all the way to our stage break.
Yeah, I think they're very happy, especially Mark Whitley. I mean, I know he's lost a ton of track position, but he needed that truck to get worked on, back in around 25th right now. So, 28th position actually is it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from that. I mean, looking at his truck myself, they definitely fixed up the right front fender, but the splitter is still not in perfect condition. They can't really fix that too well with the crew, so he's still going to be lacking a little bit of downforce, but he won't have as much drag on that truck, so he should be up to speed more on these straightaways and able to really make some time and maybe even make some passes. So we'll see how it works out for him, but it's always a tough break when you get that early damage just trying to go for the lead. It's one of those things where, John Forbes had the clean air out front. Mark Whitley was going after him, trying to get that positioning and trying to get to the inside. Just pushed a little bit too hard on one of these exits, and he got into the outside wall that really set him back now for a long race tonight.
And you are watching the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. It's race number 2 of season 4. And big thanks to the title sponsor of Race Car Graveyard. Go on, head over to Instagram and look up at Race Car Graveyard, all together as one word, and go use their promo code RCGY to go get yourself some great diecasts out there. They've got 1/24th ratios and 1/64th ratios, new, used, and custom as well at Race Car Graveyard. As the drivers are set, Eric Stamp, Old Tires, the Sitting Duck, as well as GT Rizzari, they're going to try their best to stay out front. But here we go, Zach. Do we get a quick yellow from everyone trying to scatter around the Old Tires?
I think that's going to be the huge question here, Sam, because this is going to get wild. I think luckily for Stamp, he's able to get a somewhat decent jump here and out to the front, but it's going to be 3 wide down the back straightaway here, as it looked like actually Cochran made the pass from the outside. Now he's ahead of Forbes, so Danny Cochran starting from 10th, now going to be to the lead.
He's been the most aggressive driver in our top 10 with some of the biggest moves to go forward. And here comes John Forbes, going to be making the easy pass by that of the 53, as well as Noah Steele. But GT Rizzari and Eric Stamp, they are now battling side by side in those Old Tires, and it's forcing everyone to go 3 wide on the inside.
Yeah, this is not what you want to see at Kentucky. That turn 1 and 2 there, like I said earlier, they narrowed it down. It's not as wide of a corner, so there's much less room to race there. Luckily, 3 and 4, very wide. As you see, they spread out there as GT and both Eric Stamp go much higher up the racetrack, but this is allowing all these drivers on new tires just to easily make that pass and get themselves farther up the track. But right now, we got a battle for the lead. John Forbes going for it on Danny Cochran up front.
He was taking it easy, trying to get by those with older tires, allowing Danny Cochran to really heat up those tires, and maybe he heated them up too quick and too fast because it's the 11 preferred lane, but we've seen the outside hold strong. How aggressive does the 2 want to be? And it looks like he got at least 1 lap led. Maybe he'll let John Forbes go from here.
Doesn't look like he will, as he gets to run off a 3 and 4. Now they're going to race side by side down into 1 and 2, where I think the bottom will be the preferred group. It just matters how much will that 2 try to shove him down the track. It looks like he backs the corner up, and John Forbes will finally get that pass done, as now Cochran's going to maybe look for a run down the back straightaway, but I think he's going to elect otherwise, as he's going to stay behind this 11 and try to let him figure it all out.
And they've got to settle in because they were actually allowing Noah Steele to close in on that gap. And behind them, 4th, 5th, side by side, you see on screen, that's Nick Crawford, Ethan Smith. They are dueling this out in the 00. He is trying to move forward, but Nick Crawford, much more speed on the outside. The 74 continuing to stay on that outer brim. He's just not able to really fully secure this pass. And Malik Kuntz is going to be someone I'm looking out for. This 98. I wonder how scrappy he's willing to be to try to battle his way back into the top 5.
Yeah, we'll get to see the first true test for him because we know these are two scrappy drivers right in front of him, especially that 00. He is always one going to look for that position, and Nick Crawford on his outside. We know, that group there, Snowy Desert Racing, and also the Blackjack Racing group, they did not have the greatest season 3 when it came to relationships. So right now, Ethan Smith making the clean pass through 1 and 2. Now Kuntz going to maybe try to follow through, but the run off the top is going to allow Nick Crawford to clear. I think he'll be able to get down in front of this 98, but no, the 98 looks for that spot.
Yeah, and Malik really looks strong for this 98 machine, but he does not even get to quarter panel fully, but he might have to force himself to be there because here comes the 21 of Kyle Rochelle. Kyle Rochelle, who is still searching for that first win in this series, which is crazy to think. Zach, Kyle has shown strength in other leagues that we've covered here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, still looking for that first win. I'm still shocked by it, but at this point, he can at least go and challenge some of these drivers. He's finished second before. He might be able to get it here today.
Yeah, he's been close so many times, and we've seen him win in other leagues in the past, so we'll see what he can formulate tonight. But another driver that's made some big moves, Ali Fonseca. He's took advantage of all of this melee and mayhem that we've had throughout the middle portion of this field. And now from the 19th position, he's up to 9th. So great job by the 24 machine. As we look through the rest of this field there, it looks like Martin Morales in that 91.
Martin Morales currently 15th place. He's got some rookies that are hounding his back bumper. That's going to be Matthew Gilliams in the 28 that's right there. And as well, trying to get by Joshua Freed, who has cracked the top 15 for the 39 as the field all starting to single file out. There's just a couple of passes trying to set up for themselves throughout this field. But I want to drop back to 20th position. Driver that periodically comes in every once in a while. It's the 99, Austin Halsey, showing up for one of his one special event showings throughout these seasons.
Yeah, this is great to see, man. I was going through the grid, and I got a smile on my face when I see Austin's name out there. So cool to see that 99 out there making waves out here and trying to, move himself forward as he has made the pass on Tyler Dingler. It looks like Dingler's going to fight back on the outside groove as he got the run through 3 and 4. But also, they can't look too far behind. There's that 77 of Mark Whitley. He has now made his way forward here, and it looks like that damage repair has helped that truck a decent bit.
And he is looking stable on the outside. He's going for 2 for 1 through that corner, and it looks to be true. From 28th place, now up to 19th. Mark is on a mission, but I think he realizes this is going to be a marathon. This field so much bigger than it was last week, and even in seasons past, 29 trucks showing up here for tonight. It's going to be a long trek for 28 back up to the top 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a long, long night for that 77. He's going to have a lot of patience and just have the wherewithal to make it through this field. I mean, we know he can do it. He's been one of the most talented drivers in the history of this league here. It's just going to be, I think, a fun time for us up here in the booth to watch him. I know he's probably not going to have the most fun time trying to make his way through, but for us, it'll be a good show, no doubt indeed. So we'll see what his progress is like as the rest of the night goes through. But, we're looking pretty straightforward at the moment. If it goes green, I'm interested to see, does GT or Zari, does Eric Stamp, do they get even close to going somewhere near a lap down?
And a lap down is what we're starting to see. A couple of drivers actually have gone down a lap for themselves. Jesse Thornart as well as Joshua Altis going to be seeing the 94 back out on track after his required damage has been finished. He is currently 19 laps down. And as well, Thornart just becoming the first driver a lap down. But they've got to be careful because that of Kyle Tate as well as Barrett Uphold caught up in those early incidences that did not bring out a yellow. They are now in danger of about 10 laps. About 10 seconds off of our leaders. They could be going a lap down, as you see that of the 20 machine where he's at. And here is that of the 17, who finds himself in that of 33rd place, but he's 22 seconds off the leader. And he is going to be going a lap down here, probably in the next 15 to 20 laps if we stay green.
Yeah, it's inevitable at this point if it does stay green for him, and you can see the damage he has on that left side door. That's definitely a lot of tough damage there for him. But Barrick is going to be hoping for some type of miracle here to get him back in the mix of things here, as these trucks are just, they're tough. When you get damage on them, they're very, very tough to, make up the ground that you need and make the speed that you need. As we're looking now at 26th position of Michael Sheffield.
And Sheffield, 26th position, not much action in front or behind, kind of just settling in, which isn't the worst place to be. Then in front of this one is where we find the 5 Dakota Moniz. He's in a little bit more of a hectic place when you look ahead, as Mark Whitley's been making those passes. Certainly has been a wild stint to see all these drivers on where they're at and how they're pushing along. But I got to say, most of the drivers up front, they are still in line, still trying to work with one another. And it's the battling that's going on for 6th place. Is that Emily Kuntz? He is starting to lose a little bit of touch, it looks like, as the early portions, that real fast, quick stint, I think we're starting to see he might be struggling on the longer run.
Yeah, we'll get to see here. I think he's starting to pounce on this 21 just a little bit, and he gets to that quarter panel, and the longer this run goes, the more that outside groove will work. Those tires on the bottom groove are not going to be able to hold it well. You're going to have to lift and not be able to wash up that racetrack, especially with that truck leaning on the side of it. It really takes away the side force and all that downforce generated by the right side of that truck. So you can see a nice clean pass by Malik there as he tries to make his way back forward after that wild restart. And he's also got Cedric Hunter there, who's now looking to maybe move his way forward as he's caught up now to the 21 along with him.
As the drivers settling in, and for us, we are coming up to 20 laps to go here at this stage. And for these drivers, the goal is to be inside of the top 10. Top 10 drivers at our stage break will get bonus points. They will be getting themselves for the leader 10 points. Second gets 9th, and it continues to go down by 1 point until you get to 10th place, where that 10th place driver gets only 1 bonus point. What we've seen in past seasons, 1 bonus point could be the meaning of you're into the playoffs or you're out of the playoffs. And speaking of out, more drivers have been calling it a night, as that of going to be Stephen Baldwin calling it a night for the 18. Trouble to be seen for some drivers, Zach, and it's got to be frustrating to know that their night is already over before we got to the stage break, as we get to see the battling here for 14.
Yeah, we get to see this great battle here. Sherwood, another rookie here in the league. He started in that 15th position. He's looking to move himself up one more spot, but Mark Morales, who started in 25th, has done a good job to get to where he's at. Looks like he holds strong there to hold back this 22 machine. And I'm interested to see how Sherwood does this season. I mean, we've seen him before here in other leagues on Freaky Fast, where he has, outright been the fastest car on the racetrack and, won races. So I'm excited to see once he gets used to this truck, gets in the groove here with these drivers. And, that's a huge thing. It's one thing to be fast, but you got to know your surroundings. And if you don't know all the drivers around you, sometimes you can race a little bit more timid and not really go out there and risk everything, because you don't know what some drivers will do in certain situations. So you kind of take everybody by a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, and, talking about the different leagues that we've seen drivers in, we've got plenty of leagues that we cover here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We cover 4 days in a row, as that is Monday night starting off tonight. Tuesday is the Full Send Racing Series, where they're running the trucks. Wednesday is the Next Gen Cup Series for Wicked Racing League. And then ARCA on that of Thursday for the Stars and Stripes Series. Plenty of racing action. And in February, we get to bring back the World Series of Sim Racing, as we are going to be bringing back that of WSSR Saturday nights, as those drivers run that of the Next Gen cars. And it's a lot of great coverage, Zach, and it's good to be almost a full swing here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the new year. As they're 44 laps in, Sherwood's trying his best, but here comes a driver that's been on the charge. It's Mark Whitley trying to make the pass once again by Tyler Dangler.
Yeah, making a great pass there. We saw Whitley pass, Tyler Dingler with, Austin Halsey directly in front of him. So maybe this 19's fighting back here a little bit, as they were side by side there coming off of 3 and 4. And, I got to think that damage is still having a hamper on Mark Whitley. He had so much pace in practice, qualified so well in the 4th position, and was up to 2nd. I mean, that's just, one of those things where, you got the truck fixed as much as it could, but it's just not going to be perfect the rest of the night. As you can see off of 4, just struggling for the grip. And right now, this 19 has a lot of grip here moving forward.
And it could be grip, could be also damage. I mean, it's a mixture of things where Mark, you can take what you can grab at this point, I would say, for the 77. You used up these fresh rubber. At least you made up 10 positions, 9 at most, if he gets passed by the 19 again. I would say this is a solid, thing to grab. We know that at least after the stage, the driver's going to make one more pit stop once we go green again. So Mark's run to try to push himself back up into the front 10. Not over just yet, but some great driving going on for the top 10. This is for 9th, 10th, and 11th on screen as Trent Jump trying to take this 9th place away from Ali Fonseca and Zachary Peterson watching inside.
Yeah, Trenton Jump, past champion, moving his way forward. Great pass there for him. We'll see Peterson. Can he take advantage of the 24 now of Fonseca and try to get himself back inside the top 10? But Ali with the great run off of 4 holds onto it. And I can't give a little bit of update on Mark Whitley. You know, he did get that damage fixed up as much as he possibly could on that pit stop. But I went back and looked at it. He got in the wall once again. So that was even some more damage to that right side of that truck. It's going to be a tough night for that 77. I think he's going to be looking to just get what he can and move on the next week.
And driver that had to come into pit road, that's Eric Stamp in the 53. And for Eric Stamp, his run is to try to at least be the first car a lap down before this caution comes out at our stage break, which for the drivers, they have been notified if a yellow flag comes out at lap 55 or at lap 60, that will also count as our stage break. If no caution comes out at that point, the official stage break will be at the end of lap 60. So drivers are on the clock, knowing that their time for this stage to be done is closing in.
Yeah, the clock is ticking down for them, and for Eric Stamp, he's going to need to really try to get moving. Like you said, Sam, he's got to get to that first car a lap down. He cannot be in position not to get back on the lead lap. That will really put a really bad dent into his race, especially after starting in the 5th position. That is tough to see for him, but it's just one of those things where you play and roll the dice, you know, trying to save a set of tires, and it just does not work out. I got to give credit to GT Rosari, though, as we're looking at this 12 machine of Crowfoot. He's doing a great job right now back here in around the 23rd position, but I got to give credit to GT Rosari for putting fuel in his truck. I mean, you know, he's on the older tires, but he put the fuel in the truck to make sure he could get to the end of the stage, and he's going to have an extra set on everybody when the stage does come to an end.
Yeah, and that could be a massive thing. As last time these drivers were here back in season 2, it was that of Ethan Smith that took a 2-tire pit stop that got him up front, and having the tires to make dramatic moves like that, it could be the winning factor in this 14, looking to try to get himself into victory lane this season, as we got 10 laps to go to see who's going to be in our top 10 at our stage break here tonight for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series for the Kentucky 225 on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. This is only race number 2 of season 4. Right now, seeing drivers trying to hold on the best that they can, and Ethan Smith, one of those that's right now struggling to hold on for this position. He's been trying to push forward, and right now, Nick Crawford, Cedric Hunter, they are making this inside lane look a little slow at the time. Double Zero is really trying to push as hard as he can to make this power move. I'll make this outside lane work.
Trying to make everything work there for the Double Zero. Just could not hold on long enough there as Cedric Hunter makes the move. But look, Ethan Smith thought about it there for a moment. That front straightaway is very, very weird how it really narrows after that tri-oval. I thought Ethan Smith was going to possibly elect to make that move to Cedric Hunter's inside, but he'll hold on to it for now. But Cedric Hunter, I got to say, he is definitely one to watch out for here as he's been moving forward. He's got himself past Malik, also in Kyle Rochelle. So 3 trucks he's passed in a matter of a few laps. Now he's going to have his teammate directly in front of him as they got battling more. Ali Fonseca still battling with Zachary Peterson.
And Zachary Peterson, that last lap, ran just as fast as our leader, and actually was the second fastest truck on track. That go around a little bit slower because the other 3 wide, but the 2 wide side-by-side action slowing down this 96 that honestly it feels like he needs to get back to the throttle sooner, but it's the pinching action by the 24 that allows Ollie to hold on for 10.
Yeah, that's the key. When you really, get that stranglehold on that person on the bottom, you shove them down as far as they possibly can go. It doesn't allow them to unwind that wheel and let it, go straight, because anytime you got the wheels turned to the left, you're not going forward as fast as you possibly can. So the less left turn you have in that steering wheel, the faster speed you're going to carry. When you have that truck on the outside, you have to stay there. You cannot wash up that racetrack like you would want that truck to do to naturally carry the momentum. That's why that outside groove makes it so tough to pass on the bottom. But here's Logan Brakey here as he's still in front of Crowfoot, but he's going to be coming up on Thornup here this lap truck.
And Jesse Dornick's dealing with, I think, a loss of power. That 20 has been about 2 seconds off the pace. And he's currently 2 laps, might be about 3 laps down by the time that this stage is done. Logan Breaky having a strong run for himself in the Armadillo's 29 machine. Well, we're kind of showing a little bit of the 12 behind him. That of Crawfoot. Crawfoot, I gotta say, the 12 looked very strong. I gotta give him credit on the fact that he's at least running well here tonight. Shouldn't say strong, but at least running well. He was a part of the incident that started off Daytona last week that didn't allow the 12 to actually have a run at all. But tonight, out of 16th place, this is those consistent runs. Drivers that run around here, they still have a shot to try to make the playoffs, as 16 drivers may get into the playoffs in this series, unlike other series that only allow 12.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Sam. This is right around the area where you want to be if you want to make those playoffs. You got to have good, solid runs like that. So we'll see if he can continue that. But he does have Tyler Dingler back there in the 19 truck there along with Mark Whitley and Robert Sherwood as they're trying to move their way forward. Sherwood here has definitely lost some ground, falling back to this 17th position at one point, trying to battle for 14th with Morales. So a few guys here this long run not paying dividends for them.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Tyler Dingler might be playing a little bit of tango action with Mark Whitley, just allowing the 77 to make all these passes, and he just tags along and moving forward as the drivers some are going backwards, some are going forwards, with the driver that's been dominating as we're coming up to just 3 laps to go. It's going to be now 2 laps to go in this stage. John Forbes dominating right now, Zach, and this 11, 2 seconds over Danny Cochran. Danny certainly gave him a try to be over this 11 machine in the early start of this run, but man, John just looks like he's on a completely different level here tonight.
Yeah, it really does seem to be that way. He's going to be looking to go back-to-back here. I mean, looks like the stage is definitely going to be in his hands. I don't see anybody getting to him here as they're going to be coming to that white flag. But, yeah, this isn't too surprising. He led the second most laps of any driver here last season. So Kentucky must just really click with this 11, and he's rolling off of momentum.
But also thinking about last season, this 11 machine, he did not have the wins that he wanted last season. It was season 2 where he was just dominating, had the most wins out of anyone, missed out on winning the championship, but still had a very strong machine all throughout season 2, and he's hoping to get his first win of season 4 here tonight. And what a way to start things off. John Forbes through 3 and 4, coming up to that of our stage break here at that Kentucky 225. Our stage break going to be that of sponsored by the Laugh Lap. If you're looking for great NASCAR memes, relatable memes, and multiple posts daily, head on over to @the_laugh_lap on Instagram, as that is your stage break here tonight. And your stage winner, the 11 of John Forbes.
He's had a dominant performance so far, like we just spoke of. I mean, it's looking good for possible 2 in a row, but we'll see if he can figure out something here to hold these guys off for the rest of this race. I mean, he's at his stranglehold so far, but there's been a few drivers moving their way forward. Might have a little bit of a thought for him later in this race.
As there is your stage winner, sponsored by the Laugh Lap. It's John Forbes who will be pacing around. We'll talk to him after pit stops are done. The other drivers getting their stage points. Danny Cochran's going to get 9 bonus points as he finished second. Then going to be getting 8 bonus points for the 8 machine, and Noah Steele in third. Then Nick Crawford gets 7 points with that of Cedric Hunter, Ethan Smith, that of Malik Kuntz, as well as going to be that of Kyle Rochelle. Trent Jump and Ollie Fonseca finish out your top 10 here today. Zach, gotta say, what a crazy run for these drivers as they're heading into pit road. What were you noticing from the drivers as they were getting themselves set up ready to take it to the end of this race?
I was definitely starting to see that nose wash out with these trucks, man. It's looking like that right front is starting to wear. They're losing the front turn as they go, and it's going to be interesting to hear from John Forbes here in the next few moments about what was the truck feeling like, because he was running great lap times there. I was watching most of the field's lap times. He was very, very consistent, but he did have a few mistakes. He almost actually got into the wall coming to that white flag. So just because he's in good position right now doesn't mean he's out of any bit of the woodworks, because we've seen Mark Whitley tonight. He got into the wall and he just dropped like a rock. Damage here can be a very hurtful thing. So hopefully this 11 can stay out of that trouble here as he goes into his box nice and clean.
Right into his box. How many drivers also might think about taking 2 tires? We saw that being a big threat back in season 2 when they ran here. Will that be something drivers think about? 4 tires and fuel for the majority of the field as they get out there on track. Danny Cochran, though, an incredible pit stop for himself, and he will actually win out of pit road for himself.
I mean, what an excellent job by him. I mean, that takes us back to Phoenix where he, got the amazing pit stop there to win the race off of pit road to win the championship. So Danny Cochran has pit road figured out, and you heard from there, even at Phoenix, he talked about how much he prepped for those pit stops, and it is really showing.
It really is. Well, pit stops are over, and he will be starting in second place. We don't have to worry about what position he wants to be on track on this restart. We're going to be throwing John Forbes up to the booth to get our thoughts from our stage winner. John, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. You got us?
I gotcha.
Well, you dominated there on that last restart to win the stage, but how are you feeling out there on track in this truck?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I see everyone back there struggling after a couple laps, so lost the lead there, so we're going to have to get it back again. But I think we got the speed here to do it, and we're just going to have to keep them behind us.
Yeah, John, I tell you, man, it's been excellent to watch so far. You definitely have had this speed as you lost the lead earlier, then got it right back. I mean, take us through the balance of the truck. It seems like they're definitely starting to get tighter as that run goes on, but you seem to have a very good foothold on it.
Yeah, it's definitely tight. As the run starts, it feels pretty good. But yeah, as we get on there, I know my teammates are definitely struggling pretty bad with all the traffic and stuff. So just keeping the lead is extremely important, and we're going to have to keep an eye on that and keep it going.
Well, John, good luck for the rest of this race. Before we let you go, any shout-outs that you want to give?
I just want to thank everyone watching that I sent the link to. Thank you guys.
That is going to be the Blackjack Racer of the 11, John Forbes, your stage break winner, as he goes back to his team. And Zach, it just seems like that fresh air for John, it felt nice. He wasn't dealing with any of that dirty air that was making other people have their issues. But this is going to be a fun restart to see, because this is when the action really is at its fullest. As drivers are getting set up and ready to go, we're waiting for the pace car to go by, which is going to allow drivers to take the wave around. Those drivers taking the wave around going to be Eric Stamp, as well as the 94 of Joshua Altus. With the drivers taking those wave arounds, going to allow them to get their lap back, which is going to put that of Eric Stamp back on the lead lap, giving us 33 drivers on the lead lap. With Joshua Altus, he will then only be 20 laps down. And an update for more drivers that have called it a night. We already have that of Jonathan Smith in the 72, as well as Cody Reed in the 25, and Stephen Baldwin in the 18. Called it a night before our stage break. Well, at our stage break, the 20 of Jesse Thornick has called it a night. Just underpowered, not feeling confident. And for Joshua Altus, for his reward of staying and of allowing that machine to get repaired, that's going to be gaining him 4 spots, maybe more, based on how the rest of this race is going to go. 65 laps already in the books. We're about to get ourselves back to green flag racing. But Zach, up front, Danny Cochran, as well as that of John Forbes, Cedric Hunter, Nick Crawford, Ethan Smith, and also that of Noah Steele going to be our top 6. That's a strong top 6. But now we get to see a little bit more long run pace potentially here with the fact that we've got no more stage breaks.
Yeah, this is where it starts, man. I want to see how hard Danny Cochran's going to fight on this restart, because, he got the lead from Forbes before on the last one because due to all the, the 2 tires, and he just got the better hand of it on the restart. But he fought him hard, but once he got almost clear of him, he kind of gave it to him. I think maybe here we might see a little bit more harder fighting, because he knows this is only a 1 stop to the end of this race, and he saw that 11. He just drove away into the distance. You don't want to let him get too far out.
Or maybe do you let him go out and you give yourself enough space? Maybe then you've got some clean air to work on your tires. We'll see what strategies want to be thrown as the pace car is off. And we are ready to get back to racing action here at Kentucky into the restart zone. And we're green once again for the ISRC Truck Series.
Yeah, and that was a great start there from Danny Cochran. He really caught everybody off guard. He also gave Nick Crawford that 74 the advantage, because he's able to pass John Forbes in that 11 and get himself up to second position. That's what he wants to see. He wants to see trucks in between him and that 11 truck, because he has been lights out all night. But here comes Noah Steele. Once again, he's had a great run, and he's going to get the pass done on Cedric Hunter.
And you're seeing the different entry aspects as the 13 of Cedric Hunter really backed off that of Nick Crawford and Noah Steele. Kind of had equal footings on how they want to enter that corner. It was John Forbes, very aggressive on the entry and allowing this outside lane to work to his advantage as he's trying to make this 74 push back to 3rd place. And John Forbes not trying to hold back. He lost touch, but Danny Cochran aggressive here, got the better launch for himself. But Nick Crawford still fighting and defending. And like you noted on, the Snowy Desert Racing teammates also going up against that of Blackjack Racing. That rivalry, it blossomed and grew over the playoffs last season. We want to see how in-depth that argument and rivalry got. Go watch the long run. All 5 episodes are up on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And what a season finale that one was.
Yeah, what a season finale it was, and what a episodic documentary series for sim racing it was with the long run. Like Sam said, folks, you got to go check that out. I mean, mark my words, you will not be disappointed. I even had a few drivers messaging me today that they watched it for the first time, and they were hooked. They were ready for this season. They were ready to come watch this race tonight even. So it just shows you, it lets you into the personal lives of these drivers and the rivalries out on track. As now John Forbes once again goes for the lead up front.
Going to the inside is going to be that 11 machine. John Forbes trying to figure out how to attack. He tried the outside lane on the last go, but the inside seems to be where he wants to place this 11 machine. Try to protect these tires, and Danny Cochran's got to be careful. As for that of Danny Cochran, he's officially under title and paper. He's a part of Larson Line Racing, but he is affiliated and works with Blackjack Racing all the time. They're always practicing with one another. They know their tendencies, and that's what's going to make this battle great as John Forbes trying to figure out how to deke out this two.
Yeah, I tell you, if you're John Forbes, you can't get overzealous here and try to get to this lead too quick or overwork those tires there as he gets the good run off the top. Now going to cut low here for the crossover down the back straightaway. But like I was saying, you can't overwork those tires here trying to get back to that lead. As now it's going to be tight racing through 3 and 4. This is wild stuff. They almost touch.
Almost going to be touching. They both decide to brush up and get as close as they can to the outside wall to allow each other as much space as possible. Advantage goes to the 2, but for that of Danny Cochran, the question is, how long can he hold off for this run? We saw the 11 be so aggressive in the early portions of this go, but it seemed to be, once we got close to about 15 to 20 laps into a run, that's when the tires really started to equal out. And whoever had the fresh air was the one that was going to pull away. And if you weren't protecting those tires, you were going to fall off quickly.
Yeah, it really shows. And, like I said, you can't be overzealous, man. You can't just go out there and try to fight that hard to get your tires in a bad position. Because, Forbes is feeling good out front, but you can easily get into a mode where you use up way too much tire, and you're going to be in a tough predicament at that rest of this race. I mean, we've seen drivers have struggles, and here's one of them. The 77 Mark Whitley just over pushing a little bit. He's gotten to the wall twice tonight, so you don't want to do that if you're John Forbes.
You really don't want to be that driver to get that point as right on board with the 57, gain a sense what it's like deeper in the field on how the drivers are feeling for themselves. But honestly, for a lot of the drivers, just trying to learn and grow where you can to gain all the spots at this moment. But overall, this has been some aggressive driving all throughout the field.
Yeah, it's been super aggressive here for sure here at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. So it's one of those things where you got to get what you can here early, but we've seen passing happen later in the run. So you also don't want to use too much. So we'll see how it all works out. Tyler Horn here in the 26. He's right now just making laps farther back in this field, trying to find his way and find a groove here to really be able to find that speed to push himself forward. He luckily has gained a few spots from where he started, but at the moment right now, near this tail of the field.
Yeah, he is. He's dealing with a lot of struggle. A driver that got an EOL at the start of the race and really had to avoid some big early cautions. Christopher Norris back here in 31st position. This was not how 38 saw himself starting out this season. Kind of just struggling to find any pace here this evening. Thought he was going to get a lot of information. Trying to join those practices with Larson Line and Blackjack Racing. Didn't help out at all, as here's Kyle Tate for himself running back in the back of that at 34th. First driver a lap down, and the only driver 1 lap down, and trying to just find any way for a caution to come out to allow Tate to get back on the lead lap and fight for any position possible.
Yeah, you can see him fighting the wheel there on the driver cam even. So, yeah, he's fighting for every little thing he can, and yeah, we'll see. If a caution, there's really nobody else close to even going a lap down yet. So, luckily for him, he's still in that lucky dog position that you spoke of, Sam. And, that's going to be his only hope here for tonight. He needs that to happen. He qualified in 22nd, but has been put behind here with the early mistakes. So, tough for him, but it's been so far one of those nights that any mistake is right around the next corner.
As we are halfway, mistakes are happening in the middle of the field. It's the 12 going to be spun around as it's going to be Crawfoot, Mark Whitley making their contact. I was just about to bring up, if we're going to see a caution, the middle of the pack was starting to get really gaggled up with one another, and they bring out our third caution of the day and second on-track incident to bring out a yellow.
And I tell you, man, that's a tough break for Crowfoot there in that machine, the 12 machine. So tough for him is Mark Whitley. I mean, he's had a tough night, Sam. This is very unnormal for the 77 to have this many mistakes, but just a simple mistake, getting in too deep, washing up the track into that 12 machine.
And it just doubles down even more because the 12, you see him getting spun around, but then he's going to get T-boned by the 6, and then it gets worse because instead of holding down his brake to let the 6 maybe back up, get around, he decides to brake for a second and then throttle up, which is the worst thing you could do because there's oncoming traffic, and one of the drivers we've seen have terrible luck, it's the 22 Sherwood.
Oh, and that was a heavy hit there for him. Didn't even get to see that one myself, but right there on that instant replay, that was a tough break for him. He's going to have major damage. And when you get nose damage in these trucks, I mean, you see it there. It's pretty much night over. That is a required damage flag for him, and we're going to get another good shot of what was happening. He was on that apron hoping that he could make it through that, Sam, but just could not do it there, and it just ended up in a bad situation.
Well, what makes it even worse is that he was following his teammate. That was the 28 in front of the 22 that got past that of Crowfoot, and Crowfoot learning to try to get more knowledge. The 12 had a lot of inexperienced moves that got him in trouble at Daytona last week. Just showed another inexperienced move of just trying to throttle up in the middle of the field, trying to get by him. You're better off locking it down on those brakes. The 12 brings out a caution, gets caught up in a caution, and then adds on to it later on.
Yeah, it's one of those simple mental laps, you know, when you have something happen to you like that incident where, you know, you get hit from somebody spun around. Sometimes as a driver, you lose all focus of your awareness there, and you're just, the emotions kind of kick in and you lose care for what's going out there on track. It's super easy to do. I know from, you know, personal experience that, but you got to always think that you're on the racetrack, you're live there. There's other people trying to get around you. So you got to do your best job to be predictable. But in those situations, sometimes it's impossible to be predictable. And right there was a good situation of that, as Sherwood's going to take the brunt of that. And now this sets up a little bit of an interesting time for these guys because, you know, they don't probably want to use another set of tires there after that quick little run. Could someone like GT or Azari here, you know, look to come to pit road and try to use that extra set?
Yeah, I mean, you got to make that decision. Do you want to come in later or do you come in now? Because drivers know they cannot make it from here. It's just too far. We're just past halfway, not able to make it from here on fuel. But, you know, information that can help you on your fuel, and maybe other strategies. Getting more information is iRacing iFlag. iRacing iFlag have gotten plenty of different products to help you out there become the best driver you can be with their patented iFlag virtual flag system that gives you clear indications on what the flag state is on track, as well as their digital pit board that gives you information such as weather for on track and off track, and also your fuel runs with your lap average and how many laps you have left in your fuel. Great information to be given to the drivers, and iRacing iFlag can give it to you. When you're purchasing at iRacing iFlag, remember to use our promo code FreakyFast2022 today.
Yeah, and if you want to add another great sim product with that iRacing iFlag, go check out the admin box, folks. One of the best button boxes out there. Always praise it. I have one myself. And, you know, the driver functionalities from from button boxes are always great to have. But it's also amazing to have admin functionality so you can race control a race from your driver's seat. You don't actually have to be, you know, sitting behind just watching it from the top. You can be in the driver's seat controlling the race with your admin box. So make sure you head on over to adminbox.com and at purchase there, use the discount code FFB/BOXX there to get a discount.
Discounts are ready for you today with a lot of our purchases. We'll talk more about other sponsors later on, as up front, Denny Cochran and John Forbes holding steady for themselves as they're getting ready to take off here. I mean, Zach, we got to see now 2 wrecks to bring out our 2 of our 3 cautions have been on-track incidences, already tied with the amount of cautions that we had the last time we were at Kentucky. It just seems like a little bit more aggression seems to be here tonight, as that Kentucky race was in the middle of playoff action. This race, early portions of a season, very different on the mindsets the drivers are in.
Completely different, Sam. I mean, I feel like a lot of these drivers are ready to get going in the season, and later in the season, you've had incidents with drivers, you've had those beefs and those rivalries, but right now everything's fresh. I think everybody's willing to do big moves on each other. They're learning each other also as rookies out there. I mean, it really sets up for a mixed bag of really racing out there, and I think that's kind of what we've seen so far through these 80 laps.
Well, another driver can be called to the race car graveyard, and that is going to be Ryan Crowfoot. He is done, but for us up in the booth and for the drivers on track, we're back to green flag action.
Yeah, we are. Another excellent restart from Danny Cochran, but it's the action back here that's heating up. It's right there to Cedric Hunter making the pass on Steele. But I tell you what, that 46 trim jump, he thought about making something happen there, but had to just back out of that situation there with his teammate of Noah Steele, and a smart decision from him there is right now it's going to be Ethan Smith behind that group trying to battle forward with Ali Fonseca.
Ali Fonseca, Ethan Smith, curious on how well they're going to work with one another. Kind of an alliance action, like we said. Larson Line, Blackjack Racing, they've worked with one another, but Ethan Smith, the 0-0, almost door slam in that 24 up in that outside wall.
Yeah, that was a close action between them, and that those two worked together very well. I mean, not teammates, but the Larson Line team and that Blackjack team you brought it up earlier, saying with Danny Cochran, they work as alliance together, and that's definitely something you don't want to see between two alliances is getting into each other. Luckily for their sake, they kept it clean there, as now Brakey making the pass on Peterson.
And you can see a group of drivers squalling behind, and in the thick of things, it's Mark Whitley watching 3-wide action with GT Rosari, who did come in and take 4 tires. Zach, he utilized that strategy. He'll make it 3-wide, not able to get by Gilliams or that of Sheffield. They stay 3-wide, and here we go, making the pass, but Mark Whitley continues the 3-wide action at 2.
Yeah, now you're seeing those benefits of those tires that GT Rosari has put on. That extra set he saved has come back, and he is going to be a rocket ship. I tell you, he might even drive to the lead here, folks, with how big a difference you're seeing right now on the screen. He's got a long way to go here as he works his way up into that top 15 here, as he's going to get past Joshua Freed up to 16. Zachary Pearson next when they break into the top 15. But I tell you, those tires are big.
And I got to say, there's a few other drivers tagging along with the fresh tires. You got GT, Mark Whitley taking a set of tires for himself, as well as Christopher Norris looks to be taking a set. And behind them, Eric Stamp and Matt Upbrook all taking a set of tires here for that of Stamp and Upbrook, struggling to make any movement forward. It's that of GT as well as Mark Whitley and Christopher Norris that have been on the charge for themselves. The 14 to 77, they might be making a swap, as here comes Whitley not wanting to stay behind.
I tell you, Whitley's had a eventful night, to say the least, for him getting in the wall multiple times, just involved in that latest caution. He elected to come down, probably get that truck worked on, put some 4 tires of fuel like you said on, and now he's looking to rocket forward. But GT Rosari says, nope, I'm going to do the crossover on you.
Trying all the different moves. How do you become that lead driver with those fresh rubber? Right now, have to settle in as we ride on the back of that, watching out of GT's mirror, seeing all the drivers get smaller and smaller as the fresh rubber works for himself. But it's the action in front of the 14 that it's going to be Mark Whitley making the outside power move. And I'm not surprised by this. I'm actually more surprised in the fact that we didn't see GT and Mark utilize that outside lane a little bit more when they first took off in these first couple of laps.
I completely agree with you there, Sam. That would have been an open lane for him. Everybody wants to be on the bottom. That outside lane is not where you want to be. If you got the new tires, you're going to be able to power around the outside of people. So right now, it looks like they're just electing to do the bottom as they go around braking, and Mark Whitley setting sail up in front of them. But it's been interesting to see those two, but we do have a battle for the lead too. Somehow Cedric Hunter, the 13 machine, he is charged to the lead from this last restart.
And talked about drivers, some being aggressive, some settling in, trying to protect those tires in the long run. Well, Cedric Hunter was one of those drivers that just settled in, wasn't being aggressive on the entry, like we saw John Forbes on that last stint, and they're stacking up with one another. Little bit of bump drafting action going on with the 11 and the 2 as they're trying to make this inside lane work. But when you're transitioning from the apron up to the racing surface, that is not a safe way to be making those moves, but they are willing to be aggressive here.
That they are, and that was a push from John Forbes that really allowed Cochran to get back to that inside and try to make something happen. But Cedric Hunter said, no, sir, not today, as he held him off on the outside. Now Nick Crawford, his teammate from Snowy Desert Racing, he wants to try to pass John Forbes here, but Forbes going to have a great run out of 4. He might get to the outside of Cochran.
Trying to find ways to make this thing work, as that is going to be the 11 of John Forbes, still mired on the outside, as it's going to be seeing Cedric Hunter's camera on the bottom right, leading the charge and needing to do so and trying to pull away, because the black and green 77 of Mark Whitley, he might have been beaten and battered, might have been involved with multitudes of cautions, but Zach, the fresh rubber, allows him to be back with a second life up here in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, he has been charging, he's been storming, and everything popping up there is Forbes. And Nick Crawford almost into it as Forbes holds on to it now. Even Noah's still up into the battle. So this is really starting to heat up with Mark Whitley coming into the fray with those new tires. And I tell you what, that damage hurt him. It definitely is hurting that truck, but those new tires are making that damage feel like it's all gone away.
I know for Nick Crawford, that was not intentional to make that contact, but, you know, in the back of your mind, might be thinking some retaliation. Last season, it was Nick Crawford who got beaten and moved all over the place from Snowy Desert, from all differing of different blackjack drivers. Any little contact, I think he'll take it after the way that he got moved around last season.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Sam. You know, that group there between them has had a lot of beef and a lot of drama. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure, you know, Nick Crawford, knowing him, definitely nowhere near intentional that contact, but definitely that's something to keep jotted down in the mind. And here comes Mark Whitley. Look at the run off of 4 here with those new tires. He cuts to the bottom. He's going to turn a bad night into a good night here possibly.
Oh, he is making these tires work from all the way back, mired in practically 21st position, taking the 4 tires and making it work. Now up to that second place and give him the lead here on the back stretch as Mark Whitley, he's right on the back bumper. He's trying to set up on where to go for the lead, and he dives it down low. Cedric just giving that opportunity, recognizing if I let him take this pass quick, I won't lose second place or more, but he fights back. The 13 not willing to just lay down and give up this lead.
Oh, when they make contact there, Cedric Hunter down into Mark Whitley, and the eventful night continues for Mark Whitley. He feels like a pinball probably at this point. He's going to get the pass done with those new tires. You see how much grip he has, but also behind this group, you're going to have the 14 of GT Irizarry coming forward here with those new tires. I think he's going to be the one to watch out for. He hasn't been as aggressive, hasn't been making the super power moves that you have to do with using those tires. Mark Whitley, though, has been doing that all over the place, and with the damage he has, I think at some point you're going to see those tires rear its ugly head.
In a second and a half back, and actually the fastest driver on track, it's Eric Stamp, who was going nowhere in the first 4 laps with this fresh rubber. He is now charging up to 9th place for the 53 as GT Irizarry makes the pass for second. He's now on the hunt for Mark Whitley, but watch out for Eric Stamp. He is looking mad fast when he is not stuck side by side. And this 53 could be someone, if he can make these passes as fast and as clean as possible, to watch out for.
I mean, he qualified up there up front to start this race in 5th. He definitely has the speed, and right now making passes on his teammates there as he's going to go to that inside lane. And here we go. We'll see, can Noah still get it done, as you're going to see those lap times popping up, and it's all green for that Stamp truck.
He continues to make the charge going forward, finding any way to get by, and you can just see the time difference for that of Eric Stamp. He is just cruising by everyone. And it's the center of the corner off. I mean, that extra grip just allows you to get back in the throttle, taking off. John Forbes will be the next victim to watch out for. And Zach, this changes a lot of things for these drivers, but one thing is still constant for everyone on track. There is still one more pit stop to go for the night.
That it is, and that window is quickly about to open up here. At lap 100, you can make it to the end of this race very easily. So, man, I tell you, I think these drivers, some of these may elect to go pretty early, but I think around lap 105 to 110 is where you're going to see pit road get very, very busy.
Well, drivers are making all the passes, all the moves to find out where they can go. For us up in the booth, we are going to step aside as we're coming up to the final third of the race here tonight for the Kentucky 225. This is only race number 2 of the season. Plenty of more action to cover and plenty of more action for us to cover here tonight. We'll be back in just a few moments. You won't miss a thing as we go side by side on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. and we'll see you on the other side. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have to go to an instant replay because we're under caution. An incident happening between that of Ethan Smith and Trent Jump, spinning out the 46. And this isn't a story this is a story we've told many a times. It has gotten worse, I would say, after the end of last season. But Zach, two drivers that are not a fan of one another, and over the radio, they're still not a fan of one another.
Yeah, I think those old feelings may be rearing their ugly head back up. I mean, we saw in the long run, it was not pleasant between those two. It is something I think that we're going to continue to see between them after this here. It might continue on here, folks. So we'll see exactly what happened here, Sam.
And this looks to be a little bit farther back than we were meaning to go, as that is, I believe, earlier in the race. Cody, that was earlier in the race when Cody got taken out. But it was honestly one of those things, Zach, where we're going to have to watch and see how Trenton Jump and Ethan Smith race around one another, because that 00 and the 46, there was intentional wrecking that happened around one another. And I believe this is the incident to watch out for. There was contact through 3 and 4 where the 46 came up, but watch out for Ethan Smith and Ollie Fonseca. Ethan says this bump is what got him out of shape, but it really wasn't too big of a bump. But it looked like Ethan, expecting Trenton Jump to go down lower, comes down and wipes out the 46.
Yeah, that looks like a case of he was thinking the 46 was going down. I don't think anything was majorly malicious. I mean, we know these two have not been the biggest fan of each other, of course, but it's always tough to say. I mean, There was definitely contact from Fonseca to the rear bumper of Smith here. That can always upset the truck and send it down low like that. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely not going to add to their friendship. No, no, not at all. I just think it was kind of just, Ethan Smith expecting that 46 to go lower on the racetrack. It's always tough when you're on that car on the outside to judge what the car on the inside is going to do, but you kind of got to be careful when you're coming down the racetrack not to do that. And I'm sure Trenton Jump not going to be one bit happy about it.
No, not one bit at all happy about that, as drivers also have done pit stops underway, and a few of them have actually taken some interesting strategies, and one for sure going to be that of Mark Whitley, going with the very aggressive, I believe, just fuel only stop for himself, which fuel only we've already seen not the best place to be on tires, and for Mark Whitley, he already brutalized his tires, so now we get to see the 77. All this hard work that he got to get to the lead might be for nothing now.
Yep, that is the price he's going to pay, because I think here he thinks that most likely he's got one set left, I believe, in pit road from tonight. So he's probably going to try to save it, because if he used it now and then another caution comes out later, he'd be a sitting duck. But either way, he's going to be a sitting duck here, because we've seen the difference with him driving through the field with the damage even. Now that damage and old tires is only going to rear its ugly head. Luckily for GT Irizarry, who was on that same strategy, he had saved that extra set. So he had the opportunity also to come down and get tires like the rest of this group. So this changes up the whole feel of the race here, but we'll see, can Mark Whitley get safely to the back of this field.
And as well, with this caution coming out, gives us time to be big thanks to those sponsors at ISRC, at Race Car Graveyard, LP24 Clothing, as well as the Laugh Lap, and as well many more. Morecast, Color Teal Graphics, 213 Simware, and Ride Rat. As the drivers set up, ready to get rolling, let's get back to Green Flag Racing. As you see the sponsors we give thanks to up on screen, as we're back to Green Flag Racing here, and already drivers scattering for that of the Ford, that of the 74. Nick Crawford and many others trying to hold on, as down into turn number 1, it's Mark Whitley. Old tires, good launch, but this is where they start to lose ground.
Yeah, this is where it's going to all happen here off of 2, and you can already see, look at GT Irizarry, Cedric Hunter, all 2 of them, and then I think Forbes going to try to follow along too to make all 3 of them get past this 77, but just like that, those old tires just not working out.
Not working out, and here comes the drivers trying to make as much room improving, as they are going to be still 2 wide, 3 wide, even behind this group that we see on screen. Everyone trying to gain as much as they can, and that's a scary spot to see. Ollie Fonseca with the blink, being the middle driver. That is the worst place to be if you're going to be blinking.
That it is, Sam. That's not where you want to see drivers having network issues. Look, Ethan Smith all over the back bumper. That was close action. There's now Mark Whitley going to be 3 wide here, as he's going to continue to fall with those older tires. But it's 3 wide for the lead.
They're holding on. Driver forced to the inside. That's going to be Billy Coots, who's going to be tossed in the grass. Holding on is going to be that of Gilliams. Somehow the driver's back in the back half of the field. Almost brought out another yellow here tonight. We stay green as this front pack drivers for the lead. It's GT Irizarry, John Forbes, as Cedric Hunter falls to 3rd place.
Yeah, that was wild. The leaders were 3 wide for the lead through 1 and 2. It looks like Irizarry comes out in the top end, but now Forbes, he's trying to get back to where he was earlier tonight. To the lead he goes here as he gets in front of GT, and behind that group, Danny Cochran is trying to move forward.
Trying to move forward and just try to hold on. Again, the driver that's in the fresh air seems to be in a better spot. Cedric Hunter has shown that in the longer run, he can try to make his tires last a little bit, but he's kind of being pressured by everyone around him. He can't lose too much ground, and he's got to be careful backing up, because Zach, we see it on screen, it's a train of drivers, 1 bad checkup, and this group is going to be reckoned for a long time.
Yeah, that train like that can equal big problems, and now they're going to almost go 3 wide, but they think better of it here as they continue down this into 1 and 2. But yeah, those checkups can happen so quick. One driver doesn't expect the person to check up as much as they did. They check up more than the driver behind them. It's just an according effect from behind. So yeah, it's one of those things. You can already see the damage to the back of Eric Stamp there. He doesn't want to get any more of that because it might send him around. But here comes Rochelle. He's quietly working his way back into position here, trying to get into a top 5.
And also, we got to be a big thanks, a big kudos to the 16. Joshua Kanata is doing a fabulous job as they're 3 wide once again for these drivers for themselves in the middle of the group. But drivers in the grass from that battle for top 20, it's going to be Matt Uppbrook, who's just getting the 15 machine rolling, and no yellow will be thrown out as we continue to stay green. But the chaos all over the place continues to rage on. We're coming up to just 40 laps to go, and everywhere realizing this is the moment to grab any position possible, because they know one mistake could cost you here tonight. And the battling for that 5th, 6th, 7th place position, it is not giving up. And I gotta say, Eric Stamp is in a very tricky spot. That rear end already is damaged, and he spun around instead of the 53. Yellow flag comes out.
Oh man, it looks like Rochelle was the driver that got into him there, and they just had contact before the lap before, down into 1 and 2 when it was 3 wide, and it just comes back around for those two. And Eric Stamp having such a great run. That is a heartbreaker, man. I tell you, I do not like seeing that guy get spun around. So that's unfortunate for him after this great run, but we'll have to see how it all works out for him, because it, still a long way to go. We've seen chaos here in Kentucky, but it's just one of those things where it's just hard racing.
It is a very aggressive racing, and you see our new instant replay coming up. Big thanks to Matt Dyer from that of the Blitz Racing Network. They were cherishable enough to allow us to use their replay screen, and gotta say, Zach, it's nice little upgrades that we've been trying to work on to allow us to get all the replays, so you, the audience, can see everything and all the different actions and wrecks from all the different views.
Yeah, I love it, man. That was the one thing, we use a great software in SDK Gaming to get replays, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And now we have the ability to, have that instant replay screen up there and get the wrecks that we didn't get before. So you're going to see it here live, folks. As looks like Rochelle going to the bottom, and maybe just not the room there to go there. He had the run, he was low, but Eric Stamp was there. So sometimes you just got to end up lifting. And unfortunately for Eric Stamp, he does a 360 on the back straightaway here.
Yeah, and does actually a pretty decent job of trying to stay off the wall, is that of Eric Stamp, as so he does have some right side damage, but stays off the inside pit wall. Great job there, but losing a lot of ground and using up a lot of his tires, which may force that of the 53 to use their last set of tires. I'm looking at it, actually. Eric Stamp's in a pretty decent spot for himself, but this might be the last set of tires that he's going to use, and a couple of other drivers using their last set right now, making the call. Less than 40 laps to go. We got to be making this hard decision with some of these drivers being off sequence. They're banking on this race to stay green, but Zach, based off what we saw the last time these drivers were here back in season 2, I don't see this race staying green at all. We might see a couple of more yellows that might throw out even more strategies on when drivers might come into pit road.
I'm telling you right now, I like their strategy of staying out. I'm a big proponent of that right now. We have seen chaos in Kentucky. I mean, just plain and simple. So these drivers some of them made the bed now. They've pretty much said, you know what, we're going for it. We're putting the new tires on. We hope this race goes green to the end. But when you get all these mixed strategies, that's when the aggression level picks up, not only because it's the end of the race, but everybody around you is trying to fight for every little thing they have, but they also have different sets of tires and different levels of speed. That just, in my opinion, that just jumbles everything up, and that's where you're going to see even more wrecks. So I like the group that is elected to stay out here, save that last set of tires for a final time. But for their hope, they hope that it doesn't go too long here before they do get that caution, because they will get swamped here by these new tires, and then they're going to be in a tough position, track position wise, to try to storm back up to the front with the new tires. So it's one of those things as a driver, you're just hoping for a certain scenario to play out, but a lot of times those scenarios, you don't know what's going to happen, and it could be a completely different one than you thought.
And those drivers taking their set of tires going to be John Forbes, Ethan Smith, as well as Mark Whitley, Matthew Gilliams, with Matt Uppbrook, Nick Crawford, Trent Jump, Ollie Fonseca, Eric Stamp, as well as Malik Kuntz and Kyle Tate, all deciding to come into pit road and use their set of tires. But as we're getting ready, we should be getting the 1 to go marker. There's one driver I'm curious on their thoughts. That is going to be Cedric Hunter once they've come back across the line. I'm curious on what he's thinking here, Zach, because the 13, he's been up front. He's led a couple of laps. But I'm curious on what the mental's looking like, knowing that some drivers have pitted and he hasn't.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, he's been fast on the long run. I think that's been his strong suit. He's definitely had to give up positions on the short run, but we'll just have to see what his thought is here because, you know, if it does come down where he's now in a position where it is a short run later in this race because he's got that last set of tires, he's going to have to figure something out quickly.
As drivers coming across the line, we got 13. We're going to be pulling up into the booth, and here we go. Going to have the 13 with us. Cedric, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. It's been a long race, 114 laps in, but how are you feeling knowing that some drivers just took tires right now and you haven't, but you're up front?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm pretty confident in my long run pace. My short run pace seems to be okay. Like, I can definitely keep up. I don't know. I'm hoping that we get a caution in about 10 laps. That way kind of flips the strategy because I know Forbes has been really, really quick. And I'm assuming that he has freshies right now. So obviously if it stays green, like, he'll be in prime position, and Ethan as well. So I don't know. I'm banking for a caution about 10 laps and hopefully no later. So the last thing I want to see is also a green-white checker type of situation, just an all-out sprint. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Cedric, we're late in the lap here, so I believe we're getting ready to go green. Maybe.
Oh, yeah. No, that's all right.
Yeah. So,
all right, go ahead.
Best of luck to you, buddy. Good luck on this, and try to make it through it all.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
As that was the 13 of Cedric Hunter getting ready. He'll be starting in third place, second truck on the inside, and that Hello Kitty pink machine. But up front, Cheeky Irizarry, Danny Cochran going to be side by side for themselves. Again, drivers that just pitted for tires back in 22nd position. How long will it take for them to get up front, or will we have a caution before that happens as we're into the restart zone and we're ready to get back to green flag action for the Kentucky 225 as GT is rolling off on the inside.
Oh, man, what a restart from him. But they're wrecking in the back.
They're wrecking behind. They're into the grass, and the whole entire back half of the field scattering for themselves. Gilliam's hard to the inside wall, and yellow flag comes out.
Oh, man, this has changed up everything because, you know, this isn't the caution they wanted, Sam. This is not the timing they wanted because now they're just going to wait again here for this, you know, to stay out because there's going to be no gain to stay out here for this. So this is shook things up, and I think some drivers here also involved in incidents that, you know, took tires now and they're in a tough position.
And watch out here. Everyone's just rolls up expecting. There's been a lot more early restarts. It was kind of a later restart, but watch for the 6 machine. He's going to be ducking it high, and the 99 of Austin Halsey is going to try to go through the middle, and this is when a lot of this logjam happens, as well as Tyler Dangler trying to fit through the middle. And Tyler, when you've got 3 drivers aiming for the same spot, you get these types of wrecks.
Yeah, just all like you said, Sam, they're going for the same real estate, man, and that's the incidents that you see. And right there, I don't know if John Forbes got through, but I believe he did get through unscathed.
Oh, Nick Crawford and Malik, just
huge.
No time to slow down for either of them.
That is a tough break for those guys, man. I mean, it's a lot of the group who just came down to take tires, with the group right in front of them on older set of tires having a tough restart. This is starting again. This has been chaos in Kentucky. I think that's what they're going to coin it here tonight because literally no one's been safe at this point, and we just got to see if they can somehow make this cleaner here coming down to the end.
And a lot of drivers coming into pit road. We got 3 new drivers with a required damage flag. Malik Kuntz, we saw there flying in late. He got himself required damage, so he's right on board with Nick Crawford on this replay. Also, Barrick Uphold and Nick Crawford himself going to be dealing with required damage, forced into pit road. And yeah, Zach, I mean, the majority of these guys involved all used those set of tires. Now with damage, this is not good for any of them, as that 74. That is an aggressive hit that he tries to roll off from and will be able to do so. Also, I know that of Matthew Gilliams had a really tough hit for the 28 in the inside pit wall. And there comes the drivers trickling in into pit road to get either damage repair or now gain a new set of tires.
Well, I tell you, they're probably now questioning, why did I pit? And that's the risks of coming down pit road when a majority of the field look to stay out. I mean, you're going to put yourself back in the troublesome part of the field. It's going to be people going for it. And with that, you know, that massive checkup on that outside line, there was so many people ramming in the back of each other and stuff like that, that a lot of people just got damaged from that overall. I mean, John Forbes in the 11, who was, won the stage 1 here tonight, his front nose is destroyed. The rear end's destroyed. I think he got hit from Mark Whitley from behind. I mean, it was just calamity there on that restart. And now those new tires, yeah, the damage, it's there now. You're going to have to deal with it, but those new tires aren't going to make as big a difference as they once hoped.
And also, it's going to allow those drivers that didn't come into pit road. I mean, we haven't really talked about it a lot this season, but that cooling off phase, this has got to be helping off those drivers because they are only working with about 9 lap older tires than those that pitted the caution before this.
You're exactly right, Sam. And there's also some names up here that haven't really been in position all night. I mean, I look at Joshua Kanata. He's made his way up to 6th. Dakota Maniz, I mean, what a great job of him to be at the 7th from starting 28th. We also got Martin Morales, 25th to 8th. I mean, really a great group. And even Joshua Freed, who had a terrible start to the season after getting caught up in that first wreck there at Daytona. He's now in the top 10 due to all this melee. It's just showing you the right strategy and being in the right place at the right time sometimes in racing is the best thing you can do. Sometimes it just doesn't come down to your speed and your talent. It comes down to where you place yourself on the track when those incidents start to pop up.
And as drivers are getting themselves ready to get racing, there is one driver I'm curious about, and he's our stage winner, that of John Forbes, a driver that really was trying to work his way forward, was part of the group that came into pit road. The 11, he's deep in the field, he's got the fresh rubber, but Zach, I'm curious for the 11, what are his thoughts being deep in the field with damage? John, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. Do you got us right now?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, John, we just saw that incident. We also see you got a lot of damage on this 11 machine, but how are you feeling? Still got fresh rubber to try to get yourself up front.
Well, we still got full RPM, so we'll see how much aero damage we got, but we got fresh tires still. And it's either going to just drop off a cliff and I'm going to go to last, or we'll start gaining on some people. So we're going to see how it goes here. But I really shouldn't have even made it through that wreck. So I'm just glad to be here to finish now.
Yeah, that's a tough break there, John. I tell you, man, such a good race going for you here tonight to get that damage. But like you said, you keep in a good mindset there. I got to give you a great high five for that, man, because it's tough when you get involved in something like that after having such a great night. I mean, take us through that decision to come to pit road. We know how valuable the tires were. Was that the biggest thing that weighed on your mind?
Well, I was pretty short on fuel, so I figured I was either way, I feel like I was going to be screwed. If I pit, they're going to stay out. If I stay out, they're going to pit. So either way, I feel like it wasn't going to go well, but I feel like I needed to pit and just hope it goes long.
Well, John, we're going to let you back up to your team, and good luck on this restart.
Thank you, guys.
As that is going to be the 11 Blackjack Racing machine of John Forbes. Again, he's mired all the way back in 16th place, but Zach, looking from my end, he is heavily damaged. We'll see how well he can run on this takeoff as we are coming up to less than 30 laps to go in just a couple of laps. And up front, still on older tires as everyone in our top 15. And it's going to be that of GTA Rosari, Cedric Hunter, Danny Cochran, Noah Steele, and Kyle Rochelle leading the pack and ready to get rolling into the restart zone and already ready to show off on this restart. Will we get another quick yellow, or will we get at least a little bit of a decent run as GT is taking off?
Yeah, GT out like a light there as he is really just took off there. But right now, the big battle is going to be for second as Danny Cochran's going to try to place himself ahead of Cedric Hunter. Looks like Cedric Hunter is just going to roll over, let him have the position. But here comes the run from the 2 machine down the backstretch.
Trying to make this outside lane work and also getting the draft assistance from the 13 side by side, almost equal onto the entry. And there goes the 2 back into the throttle. And that's what the outside lane can give you when you pinch down the 14 on the inner lane. And what a cannon that 2 machine was. And other drivers trying to figure out how do you move forward as quickly as possible. Some are getting aggressive, and that of the lime green 91, it's Mar Morales trying to make this outside lane work with Dakota Moniz.
Yeah, getting them elbows out as Martin Morales. He's trying everything in his power to make that pass on Dakota, and it looks like he will get it done here to hold on that position. Is now even Logan Brakey, who had such a tough season last season. I would love to see him come out here with a good run just for what he went through and had to endure, seeming like he was the brute of everybody's incident.
And also, Zach, updates on the drivers with fresh rubber. They have not advanced. They've only gone up 1 position. Ollie Fonseca, John Forbes, they are still stuck, fighting 3 wide and just struggling to go forward at all. It's Ethan Smith that seems to be the one driver that's on the move with fresh rubber.
That it does. Ethan Smith on that move, and he collected a little bit of damage from that wreck. He was probably the best off of anybody with the new tires that made it through that incident. And right now, you can see the difference. He's really starting to charge his way through up here, and he's going to be making some big moves 3 wide, using every little bit of this racetrack to try to gain time, and now going to pass all 3 of those trucks.
All get in line and all start moving, and for the lead, Danny Cochran with that of Cedric Hunter. Hunter trying to duck down low, finding and positioning. He makes one pass by GT, but now the 13 is trying to figure out how to set up the 2 as we got less than 30 laps to go, and this is crunch time because we could be finding a caution at this moment. Zach, and all these drivers that didn't pit for tires, they're going to be in that better advantage coming to pit road.
They are, Sam. It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out. But Hello Kitty is saying hello to the back bumper of the 2 machine. And this is an interesting race between these 2. Danny Cochran's been very, very quick on these restarts. But it seems like as the run goes on, this 13 has had the number of a few of these drivers up here. We'll see, can he make it work? It looks like running that higher groove. And this is what I like about 3 and 4. You have options as a driver. And look at the power run that Cedric Hunter's going to get here. What does Danny Cochran do? He holds the high line. Now Cedric Hunter down low, below the apron.
Contact! And there goes the 13. Danny got spinning. Huge wreck for the drivers. Back up onto the track and up to the surface. The 2's trying to lock it down low. And what a bizarre moment. Trying to make the pass for the lead, and they collide with one another.
And I tell you, that's all about the reconfiguration right there. You got to probably lay more blame on the 13 machine there, as that was just, him down on the apron. He was coming back on the racing surface there because, like I said earlier in this race, it tightens up there after that tri-oval, and you're going to see that here. He goes down with the big run. Danny Cochran up the racetrack here. Cedric Hunter down to the apron. But as they get farther through this tri-oval, that yellow line moves up. It does not stay low like that right there. The track is not as wide, and Cedric Hunter coming up the racetrack, Danny Cochran coming down slightly, and just like that, the 2 leaders out of this race.
I mean, it's one of those things where both drivers trying their best, and just the absolute rocket ship up in the air was that of Noah Steele. And Noah just nowhere to go. Also, Mark Morales, hard contact for himself. And that adds that of Danny Cochran, that of Mark Morales Jr., and Noah Steele, all with required damage to come into pit road. And this is honestly helping out GT of anybody, I would say, here, as well as plenty of the other drivers that weren't caught up in that wreck who've not pitted. This is your cue coming to pit road, and that's exactly what they're doing. Is we're going to ride on board with Noah Steele here on this replay, and Zach, just a helpless feeling for the 8.
Yeah, this is completely helpless. I mean, he looks at the night sky after that hit, and that is major damage for him. And what a night Noah Steele was having. He was running so good. I mean, he had such a good playoffs really to end last season. He was carrying all that momentum into this season, and here tonight just ends up an innocent bystander and 2 drivers racing for the lead. I got a feel for Noah Steele there with the required damage flag, so he's going to have to get that car worked on. And also Danny Cochran, you got to feel for him. He was running such a good race all night too, and right there, I mean, again, going for the same real estate. I got to lay blame on Cedric Hunter there. I mean, that was coming up the racetrack. He could have kept it pinned a little bit lower. It's kind of deceiving by that yellow line. Again, by the way, the track narrows and widens at this place with going into 1. But you got to be able to stay down low below that yellow line and keep it off of the driver up ahead of you. And man, it's just been a crazy night personally. Now Ethan Smith to the lead here. This is shook everything up. And his good buddy Trent jumped there right with him too.
And both those drivers on repair as well as same set of tires. Same for the 6, Justin Smith. All 3 of those had to stay out. Everyone else behind, they came into pit road. Tires, fuel, ready to go. And this is a completely different story. I mean, Ethan Smith, Trenton Jump, all those drivers that came into pit road and got their tires about, what we would say 15 laps ago, 10 laps ago, they were trapped and mired in that of 20th or worse. Now GT, who just came into pit road with the rest of the field, he's only in 4th. A complete change up in here of this late scenario.
Yeah, all these incidents here have thrown a curveball to the field. I mean, this is shook things up to the point where we don't know what position people are going to end up. I think GT Rosario, again, like you said, he's in a prime position. I mean, he's been fast all night long. Not only that, but he's just played the right strategy, it seems, all night long. He gave up those stage points to save the extra set of tires. It gave him options and opportunities, that he used those options to get the track position and pretty much just kept it from that point. So we'll see what he has left in the gas tank, as they would say, is going to come down to the end of this race with some hard battling left to do. And also, you got Justin Smith up there in the 6 machine. He's done an excellent job here to be right up in the mix of things. Yes, he's going to be on an older set of tires, but also Joshua Kanata. What a run last week at Daytona. He's in position possibly to get a top 3.
I mean, Zach, it just gets crazier and crazier when you look down the rest of our top 10, because where Kanata is, he's in 5th. Logan Brakey is in 6th. Both those drivers have gone up over 10 positions gained. But then in 7th place, Christopher Norris, our biggest mover of the night, he started in last place and is up 31 positions in 7th. Dakota Moniz up 20 positions in 8th place. Then you've also got Joshua Fareed, wrecked out on lap 2 last week at Daytona. He's in 9th currently right now in the later stages of this race. And as well, you got that of Brian Fine. I haven't talked about the 57 at all here tonight. He qualified in 27th. He's now up to 10th.
I'm just shaking my head in disbelief of what we're seeing here tonight in Kentucky. I went back, watched that season 2 race. It was wild. I mean, it had tame moments and it had a wild finish to it. But this race, I mean, ever since that stage break, it seems like it's been a full moon out here for these drivers. They've been making crazy decisions, crazy strategies. I mean, it's been all over the place. And if we can expect this for the rest of the season here at the ISRC Truck Series, these folks out here tuning in are in for a treat, because it's going to be such a mixed up show. We ain't going to know who's in position really till the white flag drops, and then it's kind of who gets back to the checker flag alive. So what a race it's been so far. I tell you, I've enjoyed it, and I've also had moments of disbelief also. So it's just been an emotional roller coaster.
I mean, if anything, I gotta say, Zach, we might have been looking at the wrong footage to prep for this race. We both watched that same race from season 2. We might have to be watching the races that happen at the same point of that season, because the cautions are just mounting up, and we still have, if needed, overtime if a caution happens in the final 5 laps before this race is done. It came to overtime at the same track two seasons ago. Will we need overtime again here tonight? Almost everyone's got fresh rubber except for our top, that of 3, and it's time for us to see how will the end of tonight go. We're coming at 21 laps to go, and it is time for the Kentucky 225 for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. We're back to green flag action as we hit the restart zone. Ethan Smith, Trent Jump, they are trying to build up the lead as much as possible, but here comes GT Irzari.
Yeah, here he comes on the outer groove here with those newer tires. Almost contact between him and Justin Smith going down into turn number 1, but he's got the power, and here comes Logan Brakey also along with him. Can Brakey get out here and break through for a victory? That would be such a story, as now Trenton Jump dropping back those new tires. Just too much power.
Too much power, and now Logan Brakey's going to be the leader of the Armadillo team, and he was on the slowest, you could say, of everyone from that group, and now he's the leader of the Armadillos in 3rd place, and he's trying to catch up to GT, but the chaos from 5th on back is about to mount up. Christopher Norris, who's been in the back half of the field, he's trying to get by that of Justin Smith the fastest he can, but here comes the rest of the pack right behind him.
Oh man, it's starting to heat up once again. It's getting crazy. You can see farther back in the fact that people dodging out wide, trying to make things happen. That's Brian Fine, along with Mark Whitley up here, trying to go forward with Michael Sheffield up ahead and Eric Stamp. I mean, everybody here is going to leave with a little bit of a scuff or a mark on their truck with the way we're racing here tonight.
Drivers, even with as damaged as they are, trying to block drivers with faster vehicles. It's wild to see, but that's exactly what might mount up to a caution here late. Drivers side by side everywhere on track. Our top 3, though, they're pulling away of that of Ethan Smith, GT Irzari, Logan Brakey. They are taking off, but we're seeing the mounting of drivers from that of 5th on back, just side by side, picking every position you can. And Zach, I gotta say, the last couple of wrecks really have hampered a lot of drivers' abilities to even get a fast launch, but it's the battling for 10th place. Drivers 3 wide and more trying to battle their way to get into the top 10.
That they are, man. It's still stacking up here with new tires, old tires, all types of different agendas and damage on trucks. It's making everything wild and open for all of these drivers to make something happen. And I tell you what, it's really starting to heat up even for the lead as you got this 3-wide action. The lead is starting to heat up as GT Irizarry now to the outside of the 00 Ethan Smith. And what's Logan Brakey going to do? Can he make it 3-wide?
He's trying to get to the inside lane, trying to get to that quarter panel, and he's at the quarter panel now, but gets cut off. Ethan Smith not allowing it. And Smith, you got to give huge kudos to the 00. Old tires, but somehow still marching with GT and Logan.
He's using every bit of rubber left on that truck here. I mean, just driving it in so deep here. But here comes GT on the outside. He's going to have the run on the exit, and this will probably be the move done. And now Brakey going to try to follow suit here as side drafting galore is going down here on the front straightaway of Kentucky. As now Brakey going to have to try to make something happen quickly.
And for that of Logan Brakey, he's got to be frustrated. He just saw his teammate have some altercations with Ethan Smith last season, and then even here tonight. It might have been an accident, but team orders might be just to get by the 00 as fast as possible as Ethan Smith, making it as difficult as it could possibly be. But there's the power, there's the grip. Logan Brakey to second place, and now it's new rubber against one another. Logan Brakey and GT as Ethan just has to wave goodbye.
Yeah, what a crazy turn of events here to have GT Irizarry and Logan Brakey out in front of this field leading with just a few laps remaining here tonight. I mean, we're under 20 laps to go here, folks. This is going to be exciting, and Brakey is going to make it happen here, I think. He has got some speed here, but GT's been so quick all night. But GT hasn't really pushed too hard on these short runs. I wonder, will he have you know the wherewithal to be able to find that grip here late in this race? But Brakey going for everything. It's all about the break loose up front.
I mean, tonight has been a lot of flashbacks on how Season 2 went, and Logan Brakey to the lead for the 29. And for Logan Brakey, he thought he was going to win the Daytona race back in Season 2. It didn't happen for himself, and now side by side with GT Irizarry, and Irizarry's trying to get himself back into victory lane. But they've got to be careful. The more that they battle, the more they've got to be careful, because the drivers from 4th on back are trying to close in the gap.
That they are. That gaggle of trucks is still racing hard. You had Christopher Norris get away from them in the 4th position. Ali Fonseca here, he is in the 24. You got Kanata in the 16 up high, and now even the 5 they're getting passed by, I believe that's the 39 of Joshua Freed who's moving up into position. Could he get his career best finish here tonight? I know he's had a career best finish at the Super Speedway, but tonight to get a top 10 would be excellent for that 39 machine.
Yeah, I mean, Joshua Freed's best finish for that 39 machine was back in 6th place, all the way back at last season for that at Talladega. This would be his best finish at a traditional that of mile-and-a-half course. He's never finished up inside of the top 10 besides that Talladega finish, and what a run he is having for this 39 machine. And as well, the battling everywhere in the top 10. They're trying to just survive, and now they've got a little bit of lap traffic that will get in the way, but this is for the lead. Zach, 11 laps to go, and almost make contact there as they're getting by lap traffic as Logan Brakey, GT Irizarry, they are pulling away even though they're battling this hard.
Oh man, the battle just got a little bit harder. GT looked to the inside. Logan Brakey said, not today, you ain't getting to the quarter panel, and he closed the door. GT won't be as nice there to lift later in this run. It's only going to be coming, or it's going to be coming by here to be 10 laps to go. Everything gets put on the line here very soon, and these will be 2 drivers looking for some great victories. GT has had a victory before, but not Logan Brakey. You know he's going to fight tooth and nail for this one.
He wants it so bad, and as this group of 2 are trying to duel out their fates on where they will finish, they want this race to stay green so they can have equal footing on how this race is going to conclude. But Zach, I'm watching the drivers that are trying to crack into the top 10. That is where the chaos is building. If we're going to see yellow, it's going to be from that group, as Mark Whitley, also seeing Kanata on top of one another. Sheffield into the stamp, and stamp into the outside wall. He keeps it straight. We stay green, but not for long. Cedric spins around. Yellow flag out. We're going to a shootout.
Oh man, this just changes every little thing, and I mean, it was everywhere. I mean, I believe it was Brian Fine there, also in the 57 involved in that, along with Michael Sheffield. That was just drivers trying to find space and find grip where it wasn't, and has really been tough. But it all started back there around Michael Sheffield there in that one machine, along with the 57 of Brian Fine there. After that contact with the 53 Eric Stamp, it kind of stacked them all up there, Sam.
Yeah, it really did stack him up. And then, we're going to see on this replay just the amount of chaos here. And this is what brought out the yellow. It was seeing this contact after the one gets into that of Eric Stamp, shoves him to the outside wall. Just that pinching action. We talked about how narrow this track can get, the exit of the corner. And after Sheffield bounces into the 13, everyone starts scattering. That fine gets into Kyle Rochelle. And I think when the 21 came back up onto the track, that's what caused a lot more of the carnage here late.
Yeah, it really did. And, the one there, which is what's very interesting about him, is him and Brian Fine are actually an alliance team together. I mean, they're not teammates, but their teams are alliance together. So they work very well together. And unfortunately, contact between them two is going to hurt both their nights. But Cedric Hunter going to take a head first ride into that wall. And that was a tough break for him. But I mean, he was involved in that incident earlier that set him back and put him back here. So, it's just one of those cases where even, maybe even some arrow playing out there where that 57 got up the racetrack. I mean, it was such a weird shot up the racetrack for him. I know the one was, far off the wall, but that's kind of the line here.
Yeah, and you're seeing Cedric trying to hold on the brake, drivers scattering into the grass, doing their best, and you're seeing other drivers trying to slide on through. Tyler Dangler, almost thought he was going to make contact. It was just slide on by, but I mean, Zach, what makes that caution even more interesting, everyone had already used their tires. Nobody, I don't believe, has an extra set, but we do have a couple of drivers needing to come into pit road because of their damaged repairs. So this is going to make things slightly interesting once we get back to green flag racing.
Oh man, I'm nervous for him. As a driver myself, I know exactly the emotions and all the feelings that Logan Brakey, GT Arzari, they're going through. I mean, even Ethan Smith, he now is like licking his chops knowing, hey, I have another shot at this thing. This is not over for me yet. These two get a little bit racing. I can stick my nose in there and make stuff happen. I mean, what an excellent night. What an up and down night it's been for a lot of drivers. But, with this caution, I think it's even a perfect time because we've had so much action going on too. Again, we talked about, the JDRF Foundation, a Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. But just to, bring that back up, folks, I'm going to post a link in our chat. That's actually going to be our charity fundraiser link if you want to go check it out, because we are holding a Daytona 500 on February 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern with, right now we're almost up to 30 drivers, so we're going to probably hit that 43 driver mark. So there's still spots out there if you're willing to come out and join us. Make sure you check out the Discord and join that there so you can get all signed up and everything for this race, because we're trying to raise money for diabetes. And man, I think we really can hit that goal of 1,000. So if you are out there and you feel the cause and you feel the need to donate, then please head over to the link we're about to post in the chat.
Yeah, again, we've got people that have donated knowing that they can't race but are still trying to help out. And drivers, minimum $5. You can donate as much as you want. And I'm trying to, again, fill the field for a good cause. Big shout out to that Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation for their Game to Give, for being a part of this amazing push and drive, because the race isn't until February 11th. We still have a full month of trying to build up for this charity event. It was such a great event that we put on last year. It was that of the Daytona 6-hour event, the preparation for the Daytona 24 hours. We weren't able to get another 6-hour event happening for this year, but I gotta say, Zach, for the fact that we cover oval racing week in and week out, I think the Daytona 500 kind of suits our style a little bit better.
That it does, man. It really does. It falls right in our wheelhouse. The endurance racing last year was so amazing to do. I think it was the first time for Freaky Fast Broadcasting, and it was cool to see. So, in the future, that is definitely something that will come back. But at the moment, we're going to be running that Daytona 500, and man, oh man, how special it is to win a 500-mile race at Daytona as a driver, first of all, but also to win one that is, bringing so much help to, juvenile children out there that, have been born with a disease that it's just very hard to deal with in your life. So, it's so cool to see that we've already hit that $500 goal. And like you said, Sam, it's literally, we got literally just a month left, and we just started this about a week ago announcing. So it's amazing, in the heartfelt community behind sim racing. It just shows there's so many great people behind so many of these drivers and fans that tune in that we have here at Freaky Fast Broadcast, and it really warms my heart. And I can't wait to see what we can produce more in the future and see if we can hit that $1,000 goal, because I really believe we can.
Yeah, I really do think we can. Last year, I believe we hit around 800. This year, trying to break that record if we can. But for tonight's race, it is a shootout, and there is one driver that I have circled up. Zach, I was watching pit stops, and I thought everyone was done with tires. There's one driver with the set left, but he's damaged. 21st position, Zachary Peterson. This is going to be a heroic run if he can somehow go from 21st to the lead, but he's going to try to gain as many positions as possible and hope he's not caught up in another wreck, because it's going to be a 4-lap shootout. Everyone is set up with the tires they have. It's what you got to deal with. Ethan Smith on some of the oldest tires. He's in 3rd. He's going to do his best to hold on and hope that no one else hits him, because it has been a tough night for a lot of these drivers. But the Kentucky 225, we're back underway. Wheel spin on the high side, and Logan Brakey is pulled away.
This is exactly what Brakey wanted to see. He saw Irizarry now back to the 3rd spot, as now Ethan Smith has held him off. And right there, Christopher Norris, he's still back. Also, as Ali Fonseca makes the pass on him. It's every man's game, but through 1 and 2, they made a huge gain on Brakey. Here comes Ethan Smith with the push from GT. What's going to happen down the back straightaway? He dives to the inside.
Trying to make this work is that of the 00, but they got to be careful, because this caution, if anyone that it's going to help inside of the top 10, it's Ali Fonseca in the 24. He was matching our leader, at times running faster than our leader. He is going to be trying to climb as fast as he can for the 24, but it's now just a 3-lap shootout. It is side-by-side action for 2nd place. Logan Brakey, we're right on board with. He's watching the action in his mirror, and that's exactly what he wants to see.
Exactly right, Sam. He wants to see the side-by-side action, and now even that 24 diving to the inside of the 00 as GT does finally clear for that pass. They're going to be coming by this next time for 2 laps to go here at Kentucky. 3 miles left here around this wild racetrack.
It's going to be 2 to go. Ali Fonseca trying to make this pass clearly, but there's a little bit of contact happening on the exit of 4. We stay green as the 26 of Tyler Horn is going to go down into pit road, but here comes that of Joshua Freed battling for fat at 4th place, as that of the 00 losing ground, almost contact, as Mark Whitley now trying to climb into a top 5 spot. But for that lead position, it is Logan Brakey through 3 and 4 trying to hold steady. He is looking for his first win ever in the ISRC Truck Series. And at turn number 4, coming to that of the the Larry Art Productions white flag, it's Logan Brakey. Can he hold on, Zach?
1 more final lap into 1 and 2. This is going to be key. Got to have a great exit off of 2 to make sure that 14 doesn't get the run. Brakey does what he needs. The 14 washes up the track. Now just has to cleanly make it through 3 and 4. I think it might be it, Sam.
He brushes the wall, but it's going to be Logan Brakey a little bit too high. He's hoping that he can get the better run off the exit. And GT Irizarry, he did everything he could, but give it to Logan Brakey. Armadillo's had a bad night, but not for the 29. Logan wins.
What a story, folks. This is exactly what he meant to do this season, to come back from everything went wrong. You couldn't have had a race that went right for Logan Brakey last season. I feel so good for this guy. And look at the fireworks just for Logan here for the victory. And what a night. Joshua Freed with the 4th place finish. Mark Whitley with 5th. I mean, it was trials and tribulations out here at Kentucky.
I mean, Logan did everything possible for so long. You could say he was the grunt worker at times for the Armadillos team, trying to help out Eric Stamp, trying to help out Trenton Jump when he went for his championship run. And the 29 was in so many different scenarios to get himself into victory lane, and he finally can say that he got it done here at Kentucky. A lot of messes happened. He saw a lot of his teammates, probably heard a lot of his teammates have bad woes, but the 29 put in the best spot. And Zach, what makes sense with the amount of trouble a lot of these drivers had here tonight, it's the driver with 0 incidences that gets into victory lane.
It is, man. I tell you, that this is such a feel-good story, first of all, folks. I mean, like I said, the season prior was just, it was not great for Logan. It just all went wrong for him. And tonight, everything turns around. He's locked into the playoffs. I mean, this is a huge win for this man right here, and I'm super excited to just hear the emotion from him, because I can tell you he is going to be super excited in this interview, Sam.
I mean, what a run for himself as Logan Brakey gets to have fun burning it down. We are going to step aside because our night's not done either. We've got ourselves the post-race show. We'll talk to our top 2 and a special guest. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show on Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. And what a night. We saw some big wrecks, big spills, but at the end of the day, our race winner here tonight. We're pulling him up in the booth. Logan Brakey. He's been here since season 2. He had a woes last season for season 3. But a second race of season 4. Logan, you are now a first-time winner in the ISRC Truck Series. How are you feeling, man?
Oh my God, Sam! I have not stopped shaking since like the last caution. I cannot find the words to describe this. I said coming into this season, man, I don't even care about winning a championship. I just want to win a damn race. Just for, just pardon my French there. I'm so amped up. I just want to win a race just to show that I belong here. I know I'm capable of doing it. I had a great shot at the end of season 2, I think, at Homestead, and it got taken from me. So, I'm just so excited, man. I can't believe it's finally happened.
I mean, Logan, man, what a great job, dude. I tell you, this is one of the best wins we've seen here at this truck series, and what a great person to get their first time win here, especially after what you went through last season. We got to see, I mean, it was just, sometimes it just seemed like it was never going to turn around for you after just getting involved in so many incidents that weren't your fault, man. So congrats first off. But take us through that, because that, I mean, like you said, that you're shaking for, that had to be so nerve-wracking having that group of drivers behind you and knowing what you had to pull off there with a late restart.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I said it like halfway through the race, I think, halfway through that final run. It was like, I've had a quiet day. I think I can weasel my way into a nice, calming top 10 finish here. And then I added on to that, unless they wreck big at the front. And like 5 laps later, they did exactly that. And it ended up being that I was one of the first guys on fresh tires, or all of us pit there, actually, sorry. And it was once me and GT got clear of everybody on that restart, and had to battle a little bit to get around Ethan for the lead, and it was just me and GT running 1-2. Truth be told, I didn't think I was going to get him. I mean, GT is notoriously quicker than me. He's a heck of a driver. And I was just like, okay, this is my shot. I got to go get this. And it worked out, man.
I mean, middle of the race, we were seeing those wrecks piling in, and the majority of them, you saw that your teammates were being involved. How was that mentally, hearing your teammates might have been complaining over the radio, and you trying to stay calm and steady, knowing I still got a clean truck and I've got an opportunity for this win?
Well, I mean, I've been on the reverse end of that so many times. Like, you and Zach mentioned last season, I was one of the 3 trucks, the 3 out of 4 trucks that were wrecked and out of contention. I've been on that end of the stick so many times. So to finally be the the one that actually gets lucky, and my closest call was that big wreck at the end with Danny and Cedric and my teammate Noah. And I was able to get it checked up and drive through it in enough time. So yeah, it just feels so good to have the cards fall the right way for me for a change. And oh my God, I'm so excited, man.
Well, congratulations again, Logan, on this win. And now the part that a lot of people might be waiting for, it is time for you to have the floor and any shout outs that you have.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to start. First and foremost, I guess my team, the return of Armadillo Motorsports. We keep digging, baby. Armadillos keep digging. That's what we do. Big thanks to Tanner for getting the team going again. My teammates, Trent, Eric, Noah, all of them, for just talking me through the last stages of those races, to let me know what I need to do here. They were telling me, don't let anybody get to your outside. Don't spin the tires on the restart. So can't thank them enough. Gosh, my sponsor, Agriterra, my uncle's company. Big shout out to my aunt and uncle. This is their company, and it's an honor to get a win with them here. My mom, biggest fan. She watches every single race. I'm so glad she can finally see me bring one home. You guys for broadcasting. Put on a good show for us every week. All the guys for showing up and putting on a good race. Huge shout out to GT for the great battle that he and I had. I really appreciate him racing me clean there. I gave him a bumper and one to get by him, and I appreciate him, running me hard but clean all the way to the end. And lastly, to the admins Martin, Tyler, and Jacob Morris for continuing to run this league here. It's been a lot of fun, and Now I'm finally a winner, baby. Can't wait for my sticker. Let's go.
That is going to be the 29 of Logan Breaky. Congratulations on the win. 2 races, 2 different winners, and good luck in the playoffs once we get there. And enjoy this win, Logan.
Thank you, boys. Thank you so much.
As we go from victory lane, we head to probably the woes. We got second place. That is going to be GT Irizarry with us. GT, you come away with a hard-fought battle there at the end with Logan Breaky, but man, second place after the way that we saw a lot of these wrecks happen, well, not too bad for how the night went. But how are you feeling after this one?
Y'all didn't count me out since I didn't take tires on the first stage, did you?
Oh, no, we did not at all.
That was a lonely feeling out there. I was like, I had my Travis Everett as my spotter, and he was like, "Don't worry about it, just chill, man. You're not gonna get lapped down." I was like, "Oh boy." So that was not a very fun part of the race right there, but it was fun, man. I hope we put on a show for you boys.
That you did, GT. It's always good to hear your voice, man. Congrats, like Sam said, on second. I mean, just coming up short, but I mean, what a show you guys put on out there. Take us through that last restart, because do you feel like if it went a little bit different where you didn't get cleared by that bottom lane, you feel like you would have had a better shot at it?
I think we really had a better shot at it. Number one, when the tires pulled in my favor after the stage break, and we took the lead, and the yellow came out, and it was rash from there. But then, if we wouldn't have the last yellow, that's what we were up there talking about. I think it would have been different. You know, I say that it's easy to get beside somebody. It's hard to pull that pass off. As you know, when they're on the outside, they can carry just so much speed coming off the turn. So, I was considering the bumper, but you know, I don't want to be that guy that tries to do that just to be cool to move somebody, but ends up dumping him. I didn't want to do that.
I mean, GT, we saw it passing drivers was difficult at times, but we also saw you in the thick of things in the middle of that traffic. How was it working with the dirty air and trying to make your way to be up front, battling for a chance for an opportunity for the win?
Nerve wracking as hell, man. I mean, you're white knuckled through there. I mean, you know, I learned by running last season and the season before. I mean, these guys fight for everything, which is fine. That makes it fun, man. I mean, you just got to hold your line. I was more worried about whoever was down low in the event of any situation. That was just me. That you know, it's so bouncy down there. You just got to be careful that it doesn't bounce you up to the guy up on the track. And I think that's what happened with the 13 and Danny. But yeah, we drove right through the middle of that. But no, it was nerve wracking. But you know, it's fun. These are the kind of tracks that I like. These are the ones that I look forward to coming to. So this is one of my favorite tracks. But and it you know, it showed now. I mean, that I just love the place, man. It's a cool place to race.
Well, GT, a great performance here tonight, and it showed in the way that you ran that you were incredible to watch at times. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
I appreciate Lee putting it on. Appreciate, as always, you boys up in the booth. I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job. Robert as well for running the cameras and stuff like that. Good job on that. And you know, the guys on the track. It's very competitive here, which makes it fun and makes you look forward to keep coming back each week. And you know, I got to throw a shout out to Travis for being a spotter today. That really actually helped me out when it come to pitting and keeping me calm and stuff like that. He did a really good job, phenomenal job that. And then earlier in the week, my team at RSR, we actually ran a race here and got some good practice in. So definitely got to throw a shout out to them over there for helping me get prepared for this week.
Well, that's going to be second place finisher of GT Irizarry. Congratulations on second, and good luck next week as we find ourselves heading to Chicagoland.
We're going to like that place too.
I can't wait to see GT perform. As we go from second place, we go to our special guest driver. Again, we interview our top 2, and then we pick the next driver who we think had a fantastic storyline. And there were only 2 drivers we were thinking. It was either Mark Whitley with his ups and downs, or it was this driver. We have Joshua Freed with us. Joshua, coming into tonight, I mean, was there any thought that this was possible? I mean, you come in, you look at the stats, you have the 8th most starts out of anyone in this league. You were looking for your first top 5, and you got it here tonight with 4th place. How are you feeling after that?
I'm feeling good. That was a lot of fun tonight. Definitely don't run up front too often. Just come here for a lot of fun. So it was definitely different tonight. Definitely gripping the wheel a lot tighter today at the end.
Well, Joshua, man, first off, congrats on the first top 5, man. It was awesome to see you coming up through the field there late in this race. I mean, take us through how much a big of a momentum swing this can be for you, because we saw last week you were an innocent bystander and like a lap 1 wreck at Daytona. This has got to be a huge boost for you.
Yeah, last week was definitely tough. Just trying to, I thought staying in the back would avoid the wrecks, but clearly that wasn't the case. But yeah, this is definitely good. I mean, kind of helps me prove that I can run up here and run up at the top end as long as I stay consistent. I feel like I was really consistent, especially through 3 and 4 this today, which really helped me gain a lot of spots. So definitely want to keep this momentum riding forward.
And moving forward, we're heading to Chicagoland, Watkins Glen, and then some new track at that Twin Ring Motegi. How are you feeling about these next couple of racetracks that are coming up?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Chicago. I like Chicago. I think I run pretty decent there. So want to just try and have a nice clean race. And then Watkins Glen, I'm not the best road track guy, so I'm just hoping to stay on the track there. And then Motegi is going to be interesting. I think new track's going to be pretty dicey with this, with everybody trying it out, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, again, Joshua, congratulations on your first top 5, finishing 4th. Best finish in ISRC history for yourself. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
I just want to give a congrats to Logan getting his first win. He ran a great race today, so congrats to him.
Well, that is going to be the 39 of Joshua Freed. Congratulations on 4th place, and good luck at Chicago next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
As we go from our interviews, take a look at the unofficial results of the night. I mean, Zach, the storylines. First time winner, first time top 5 finisher. Man, this was a wild night with the way things concluded. A lot of big wrecks, but this is the way that they came down here, finishing Logan Breakey with his first win, GT second, Ale Fonseca with a great run to 3rd, Joshua Freed 4th, Mark Whitley 5th, Ethan Smith 6th, that of Christopher Norris going to take 7th, that of Joshua Kanata going to be taking that of 8th, Dakota Moniz 9th, as well as that of Jordan Schmidt's going to get 10th. I mean, a lot of drivers we weren't talking about for most of the race finding themselves up front with a top 10 finish.
I mean, tonight was a whirlwind. I'm still trying to kind of take it all in. The emotions are still going through of what just went down, and just a wild night overall in general. I mean, as you go through the rest of the field, I mean, you see guys that, got top 15s that really probably didn't think they were going to because they were involved in incidents. Then you had guys that had great runs going that got involved in incidents, and their night got ruined. I mean, Danny Cochran up front leading, has the incident with Cedric Hunter. He finishes back in 31st. That's got to be a tough blow to him. I mean, you got so much going on that it really just was one of those nights where everything was so unpredictable. Once we had those last 40 laps or so, it just seemed like nothing would go right up front, and it all just went wrong for a lot of drivers tonight. And I think going into Chicagoland next week, we're going to have some good drama stirred up.
Drama continues to build up, and I think that's really been the title of this league. Just drama, drama, drama all the time. And as us up in the booth, it gives us great storylines to talk about. Know the drivers, they can get frustrated at times, and I hope you as the audience is enjoying the show. And the show for this week is not done yet. We've got plenty of other streams that are going to be coming up throughout the week, as tomorrow going to be that of the Full Send Racing Series. They're running the trucks, but they're heading to a track that is going to be multi-groove racing. They're heading to that of Homestead. Then on Wednesday night, it's the Wicked Racing League for themselves, heading to Nashville Super Speedway. They've been practicing hard all week long, and drivers are ready to see how they can tackle that of Music City. Then gonna be on Thursday, it's that of the Stars and Stripes Series, heading to that of Michigan, where they found being the championship race last season. Well, now it's just that of race number 3. How will the drivers attack in that of the ARCA cars? And then, Zach, I think something that we're excited here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, I know your team might be a little bit stressed out about it, but we are going to be covering that of the Category 5 esports team Saturday for their 24-hour Daytona special event in their attempt for glory.
Yeah, I'm nervous. you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, it's an event that only comes around once a year, and I got to give a huge shout out to you and Robert, for helping out with this. I mean, it's always cool to have people to watch, your event go on, but I think this is going to be a really cool stage for us to try to go and perform in a new car, just everything. I mean, we got a great group of drivers there. There's 5 of us, and I think we're prepared very well. But you never know when you go into 24-hour events. It's always, it could be the last hour, it could be the first hour. You never know when that little mistake can rear its ugly head and stuff can come out and take you out of contention. But I tell you, it's going to be fun to have it on Freaky Fast, and I hope people come out and enjoy watching it along with us.
Can't wait for it. The week is certainly filled with a lot of action this week. Can't wait to give you all the coverage again here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But for tonight, Zach, Kentucky, we hadn't seen it for 2 seasons, but I felt like this show might have topped what we saw that of season 2's Kentucky race, which that one was spectacular on its own. But Logan Brickey getting this first win, what a night. And what are some of your final thoughts?
I mean, it definitely tops that first Kentucky race. I think we're going to dub this Chaos Kentucky because it was just chaos from the drop of the green flag. I mean, we had a somewhat normal stage. We did have one incident in there, but after that stage, I mean, everything just broke loose, and it was so fun to commentate from up here. I know for drivers it was probably frustrating, and that's to be happen when these type of things happen. But they got to remember to move on to next week, because they got Chicagoland coming up, a great racetrack also. I can't wait to see that. And, man, if you enjoyed it tonight, make sure you come back next Monday night to enjoy some more of this action.
Can't wait for it. Next Monday night, it is Chicagoland here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, giving you the coverage for the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. But for us this week, it's tomorrow, our next broadcast. It is the Full Send Racing Series. But for tonight, thank you for joining us. For myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, for Robert Moyer, and everyone else here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for watching tonight's coverage of the ISRC Truck Series. We'll see you tomorrow night as the drivers get set and ready for that of Homestead. We'll see you then on our next broadcast. Have a good one, everybody.